to go live. We'll see what happens. So we are broadcasting, I believe. Rina Haenze's in charge always, but especially today. As Rina, you're the keeper of arcane lore for Walter's Final Wish. I don't have a whole lot to say other than trying to bully people into joining Patreon. We are at patreon.com/ain'tslade. We have fun things already there and more on the way. We have 2 parts of our Jeremiah prequel arc. We'll be wrapping that up sometime soon. There are 1 or 2 more parts to that. More importantly, I'm just saying that because they're here. We're doing a Call of Cthulhu World War London campaign it's kind of like between a scenario and a campaign with Scott Dorward as the keeper. And Scott wrote this scenario that we're playing. I know I'm having fun with it, as you two know. I'm so bad at this game, but it's really fun, and that'll debut on Roll20 later in the month. So look forward to that. And without talking any further, I'll kick it over to you, Rina. You can introduce the game, and then we can all introduce ourselves, and I'll plug Patreon again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll introduce ourselves and what we're all doing, and then we'll go back around, and everyone can introduce their characters once we do the scenario setup. So hi, y'all. I'm Rina. You probably know me already if you follow this podcast and this Twitch at all, because I'm pretty much everywhere. As Cuppy mentioned, you can find me soon on the World War Cthulhu London arc, which is amazing. I'm having an absolute blast, and some creepy, crazy shenanigans are going on there. You can also find me on the Old Ways podcast, where I am on the Horror on the Orient Express campaign as Lady Elizabeth Fitzroy. And also we've got an upcoming Patreon game there for Monster of the Week that I was on. So lots of fun things. And next month, I will be on the D&D podcast, The First Watch, on their arc, The Random Heist. We've already recorded that. It looks like it's going to be a great deal of fun. I'm also doing a bunch of other things, but Cuppy told me to keep it under 10 minutes, so I'll leave it at that. But you can find me on Twitter as snarky_Romulan. I update people about what I'm doing there. And I'm all around the Discords as the Inevitable Rina, for obvious reasons. So happy to chat gaming, talk gaming, be on your podcast, whatever. I'm always available for some reason. So looking forward to running this game. Tonight we're playing Walter's Final Wish, and I'll tell you a bit more about that scenario in a minute. So I'll throw it on over to Hedge, because he's next to me on the screen.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Can we just, before we get into us, can we do the content warnings? Because if somebody doesn't want to watch, then
yes,
they don't have to just introduce ourselves.
Good idea. So content warnings for this scenario include, well, it's Cthulhu, so horror, violence, blood and gore, maybe some body horror, definitely death. There will be elderly person endangerment and potentially death. This scenario is set in a care home, so just so you're aware there. I'll try not to be too brutal with that, but it does happen. And so just be aware of those particular issues when it comes to content. For the players, if anything comes up that is an issue that we haven't discussed before, I'm not expecting anything, but considering how crazy you guys are, it might. Just either send me a message on Discord and I'll work around it, or you could do the sort of X card, and we'll move around that and see what we can work with. But in general, blood, gore, body horror, death, elderly person endangerment. No children will be harmed on this podcast for once.
Well, we can introduce children as the players. Yeah. I threw your Twitter handle up right as you said the X card, so now people can tweet you that they don't like the content directly. But we do have nasty players here today, so it will certainly be violent, I'm sure. Cat especially.
And for the chat, before I forget, again, my name is Rina. If you don't know me, my pronouns are she, her, and they, them. So you can use either set for me. All right, Hedge.
Hi, I'm Hedge. I'm a parkour coach, so I have very little to advertise as such, but I'm here to play and I'm really excited for it. I'll be playing Ethel. I'll tell you more about it when we get to it. Scott, on you go.
Oh, right. Okay. Wasn't quite ready there. Yes. Hi, I'm Scott. So you can probably find me online at sdorwood on Twitter, if you fancy doing so. If you're interested in the other podcasting stuff I do outside Ain't Slayed Nobody, because we have covered the fact that I'm running World War Cthulhu for them at the moment, I do a bunch of stuff for How We Roll, including running the Two-Headed Serpent for them, which I've been doing for what feels like half my life at this stage. And my main gig is as one of the hosts of the Good Friends of Jackson Elias podcast, when we talk about Call of Cthulhu, horror films, weird fiction, and all sorts of other cool stuff. And we are, at present, the Good Friends of Jackson Elias, that is, just preparing to put out the latest issue of our Call of Cthulhu fanzine, our licensed Call of Cthulhu fanzine, The Blasphemous Tome, which will feature a brand new scenario by our very own Matt Sanderson. That'll be coming in June. Take a look at blasphemoustomes.com for more details. Kat, over to you.
Hey everybody, I'm Kat. I wasn't prepared either. I'm a regular art streamer. I stream illustration and horror and fantasy artwork. And I have started to become a regular on 8 Slade somehow, which is great. Love it. So if you're interested in watching some artwork, I stream every Tuesday and every Thursday evening, UK time, 7:30. And that's over at www.twitch.tv/Catherine Jenkins Art. And hopefully some more Cthulhu Dark scenarios coming in future. I am very slowly writing them. Slowly.
All right. Excellent. Kat does write some amazing Cthulhu Dark stuff. I've played 2 of her scenarios, and I love them very much. So hopefully get to inflict a few more on me later when she writes them. All right. So Walter's Final Wish. This is a scenario from Fear's Sharp Little Needles. So you can find it in that collection by Stygian Fox. It's a really great set of scenarios, and this one is particularly fun for me to run. So I hope you will all enjoy it. But it is the modern day post-COVID, because we are not going to be dealing with any of that nonsense in a care home in particular. But this is a world where COVID isn't happening at all. So no masks, no social distancing, none of that stuff. Maybe it's 2019, who knows? A much happier world.
The before times.
The before times. But this is a small town in central Ohio called Ash. I made up this town for the purposes of this game. Please do not at me if there is no such town. But there is a luxury retirement facility called the Weeping Willows Retirement Home. It is referred to as luxurious because each patient only has one roommate. Gasp. So it's very luxurious. But it's a place that is mostly funded by Medicare payments and things of that nature. You do have a few patients who are funded through the generosity of their children and grandchildren or through private funding, including Ethel, who we'll be meeting in a moment. But this facility is kind of run down. There are rumors that it used to be a prison and it might be haunted. We don't know. There's a lot of local legends around, but nobody really cares because, well, just a bunch of old people live here. We're not going to do too much digging into what this place is. So you have the 2 wings, one on each side, with the patients' rooms, except we're not allowed to call them patients. We have to call them residents. Patients is just too harsh of a word. So all the staff are instructed to refer to the residents. You have one recreational room and facility area where the residents can hang out with their relatives, anyone who comes to visit, where they can do puzzles and watch TV and all that sort of thing. And it's generally pretty quiet. It's a little bit outside of town. You have a wide field out behind you filled with cows most of the time who just completely ignore anybody in the area. You do have the occasional heroin addict and junkie who just leans up against the building or tries to sneak into the back to find a place to get high. Sam, the security guard, has to chase them off a few times. You get the few local country scandals going on, but for the most part, it's quiet. Time just goes on without anybody really noticing what else is happening around them. And this is where we are going to meet our lovely cast. So we open the scene on the recreational room of the Whispering Willows retirement community. It is a large room with peeling linoleum floor. It's got kind of that pastel sort of green paint on the walls that you see in some hospitals and some older retirement homes. Looks like it hasn't been touched up in probably 6 months. There's some tables and chairs scattered around. They look like they've probably been either picked up from the side of the road where people just left them out for to be taken to the dumpster, or maybe they were picked up at charity shops, who knows, but none of them match. There's a bunch of jigsaw puzzles, which most of them are missing pieces. There is a few armchairs scattered around with the stuffing coming loose. There's a few potted plants. There's one TV. It's up on the wall. It looks kind of outdated. Okay, there's a TV. And a low stuffed couch in front of that television. So the four of you are all in this room doing various things. So we'll start with you, Scott. Who are you and what are you doing at this moment?
Okay, so I'm playing Nick Barry, who is the head nurse for the facility. He is in his middle years. It looks like the job is beginning to get to him a little bit. Perhaps it's the long hours. He's got fairly unkempt looking grey hair, a bit curly, but hasn't had a haircut recently enough. He wears fairly thick framed plastic spectacles, fairly heavily lined face, and a sort of world weary look to him. From too many long shifts and late nights, but still tries to put on a smile for the residents. It just looks a bit more forced every day.
So, Nurse Barry, you are in the main recreational room. There's a few residents in there. You've been doing your rounds. It's about 1 p.m. You've been passing out the after lunch medication and Jell-O to all of the residents. Today's color is orange, which some of them are not too happy about. But orange is on Tuesdays, and it's Tuesday, so you get orange Jell-O today. You're just going to have to deal with it. So you've come to the rec room to find the last few who weren't in their rooms. You missed a few people who had migraines or who weren't feeling well, but you'll give them their meds later. And as you walk into the room with this little set of pills, this tall person wearing 6-inch stilettos and a knee-length sequined orange dress and a ridiculously tall blonde wig that is slightly crooked and a full face of makeup comes up to you and drapes their arm over your shoulder and says, "Nicholas, darling, it's so good to see you. What have you brought me today?" And this is Poppy
That's
Cox,
me.
the resident
That's my
drag
character.
queen.
Yeah.
This is Poppy Cox, the resident drag queen of the facility, who is never seen out of drag.
Poppy, a delight as always. What have I brought you today? I think you're going to have to forgo your normal champagne to wash this down. I'm sorry, but we do still have the good stuff here. I'll say, just pulling out a little paper cup with a few pills rattling around in it.
She shakes it a little bit and says, "You always know what gets me excited, Nick, darling." And she downs them all. She downs them all without water. Says, "I've never had any trouble swallowing." And she sort of winks at you and sachets away.
She's my favorite.
Let's get back to the content warnings.
So as you're passing out pills and things, Nick, we can switch slightly over to the side where at a table doing a jigsaw puzzle, we see an elderly woman and a younger man who looks to be maybe her grandson. Ethel, you have been at this table for a little while. The TV is playing. It's much too loud. You can't hear anything Gary is saying over it. But Ethel and Gary, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us what you're doing?
So I'm Ethel. Ethel is 87. She's been through the wars, vet from Vietnam. She's had a long life. She's done very well for herself. My husband died 40 years ago. Let's not talk about that too much. But since then, she's not very happy here. But she does her best. She puts on a good face for Gary, you know. Oh, my darling Gary, how are you doing that? How are you doing, Gary? It's lovely to see you. You really wish you'd visit me more often, you know. How are you doing? Now tell me all about your mother. How is she doing? Tell me everything, Gary. Oh, my darling, it's lovely to see you. Oh.
Yeah, Grandma, do you know how to change the channel on this TV?
Oh, no,
It's
they
like-
don't let me use the remote anymore. Not after last time, no.
Oh, gosh. I'm so tired of HGTV. Yeah, so I'm Gary. I'm looking at my character for the first time, as is on brand for me. I'm going to start with my inventory. It's all I saw was that I had blue light glasses, so I went to find my wife's blue light glasses. And despite the glasses and me drinking out of a straw, I am not one of the elderly patients. I am Ethel's grandson, and I do try to visit her once a month just to check in, see how she's doing. I don't really trust the nursing home staff that much, and she practically raised me when I was a boy, so kind of paying her back by letting her share war stories with me. I do like to talk about her husband's death.
You were a devil as a boy. Always a problem. Always a problem.
Where's Nurse Nick? It's time for your medication, I think, Grandma. I work in IT, so I'm mostly just zoning out, trying to figure out, how to get on my phone or how to work the TV here.
Really wish you get a proper job instead of messing around with those computers, my boy. You know, get a real job. Maybe get a job in a shop. You know.
Yeah, I had a job in a gaming shop for a while. I probably play a lot of Call of Cthulhu. My grandfather Herb died in an RV accident. My grandma Ethel doesn't like to hear about it, so I bring that up every now and then. And that's about it.
So the two of you are chatting and working on a jigsaw puzzle. And Gary, you mentioned HGTV, but what's playing on the screen right now is actually a rerun of it looks to be maybe season 6, the finale of a very popular show called The Shambling Dead. It was made recently, but it looks like it was filmed in the 80s with all the practical effects and blood spurting everywhere and very fake prosthetics.
Mm-hmm.
And right now there's a couple elderly folks gathered around the TV, carefully watching as the hero, who's this big man with a Stetson and he's shirtless for some reason, carrying a shotgun, is having some kind of romantic dialogue with the big-chested blonde who is saying something very dramatic, but it's really hard to make out over all the other noise that's going on. But the residents seem to be enjoying the show, although this might be because the TV hasn't worked for 6 months. So this is the first TV they've been able to watch since then. But it is a very violent sort of zombie show going on, which might account for how loud it is. Very hard to play do jigsaw puzzles when you've got shotgun blasts going off in the background. So, Sam, what are you doing in the room at the moment? You see Nurse Barry handing out pills, and there's Ethel in the corner with Gary. What are you doing at this moment?
So Sam is sat back in a chair near the door, and has a bag of donuts balanced on her stomach, which is incredibly rotund. She seems to take up the whole chair. In fact, she seems to sort of envelope it, and kind of, it doesn't, the legs look like they're slightly bowing, and the donuts sort of teeter on her stomach just a little bit dramatically, and she's got in one hand Carrie by Stephen King, which looks like it's been very, very well read, slightly tea stained, with notes written in it. And she's got that open, but she's not actually reading it because she's too busy watching the television. And kind of, she seems to be in a bit of a half asleep mode. Her other hand is sort of down by the holster of where her gun is. Just seems to be like a habit of hers to keep her hand down there. But yeah, she's just sort of like occasionally takes a deep breath, looks at the donuts just to make sure that they're still there, and then goes back to like turning a page with her thumb and then continuing to watch the TV. Just like, yeah, I'm not moving because I can't actually physically get out of this chair. No, not happening.
Gary likes Sam, by the way. That's a footnote.
Great odds for your survival there, Sam.
Diabetes is going to get you before the Eldritch Horrors.
Just throw donut holes at the mythos creature.
I didn't say that the bag of donuts had any donuts left in it. It's just a bag.
Make a blood sugar roll. Yeah. So, Nick, you look around as you're passing out pills to everyone. Poppy is now reclining regally in a chair in front of the TV with her legs stretched out, and her orange sequin dress is riding up very dangerously. And you see that Manuel is sitting on the couch. He's got one of those old ear trumpets. And every few minutes, he keeps looking over at Verity, who's sitting on the couch next to him, and going, "Hey, what did they say? What?" And then Verity yells at him what is being said on the television, which really seems to annoy the other person in the room, who's Randy Winters, who is the local conspiracy theorist. You don't know why he's watching this show because he doesn't seem to really like these sort of violent shows, but maybe he's just bored from lack of TV. But he's pointing at the TV and going, the zombies, they're just metaphors for the commies. It's the commies. When the zombie apocalypse comes, it'll be because they put stuff in the water, chlorine in the water. It's the commies. And he's just going on and on and on, and everyone is ignoring him completely.
It's like my family's Thanksgiving.
Sounds about right. So it's been a fairly quiet day for most of y'all. You've been there for a few hours. Nick, you had to confiscate some technology from Otto, one of the other residents. He's the local MacGyver. He keeps making these weird little instruments. One time he was trying to make an EMF meter, and it made all these beeping noises that drove all the dogs in the area insane. And this morning he had a clicker that was turning off people's hearing aids, and so you had to take that away from him. And he's sort of tottered off back to his room, grumbling at you. But it's been fairly quiet so far today. Just nice, peaceful, relaxing. We're looking at the TV now, or at least the residents are, and Sam's half asleep. And we're getting to the big climax of this cliffhanger episode of season 6. It was never renewed for a 7th season, so no one ever knew what happened next. But the big bare-chested hero is standing in a small group surrounded by the shambling dead. He's got a shotgun out. He's got one hand extended towards the busty blonde to keep her back. He's got a small child behind him peeking out in terror, and he looks like he's about to say one of his classic one-liners, romantic one-liners before the dead attack. And then the TV changes. And it's the news station. It's the local news station. You see the regular reporter for this news station. She's sitting there behind the desk. Her co-anchor isn't there with her, which is a little strange, but she's wearing this tight brown suit. She's got her blonde hair pulled up in a bun, but her glasses are falling down towards the end of her nose, and you can see her hands are shaking a little bit. And she looks straight at the camera, and all of you hear this, except maybe Manuel with his hearing trumpet. All of you hear this when she says, "Emergency broadcast. Emergency broadcast. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." She looks around in panic for a moment before calming herself down. "The dead are walking. I repeat, the dead are walking. This is not a drill."
Is this a new show?
They've taken, oh God, and it's the camera switches to like shaky handheld footage of these zombies with their faces peeling off, climbing up a fence around the White House, and you see an orange blur screaming in the background as it's being dragged off by something attached to its leg, and then you see more shaky phone footage from all over the United States, New York, Florida, Richmond. There's just people screaming and running, and these zombies just shambling after them. You can't quite get a close look at them because the camera is shaking so badly, but then it switches back to the newsroom, and the anchor is gripping the edge of the table. Like she looks like she's half rising out of her seat. She says, "As best as we can tell, you need to shoot for the head or remove the brain. Either one of those. Go for the head, remove the brain. Either one. It's the only way to take these things down, through the brain. Oh God, oh God." And then she starts standing up, and then she turns deathly pale and staggers back, and you see coming from off screen, coming towards her is the weather girl. Who's in this long blue dress, and she's got this long brown hair down around her shoulder. She's usually got this nice, pleasant smile, but she's stumbling towards the news anchor, and she's got her hands stretched out, and she's got one eye hanging out of her face, and her hair is coming out in clumps, and there's blood running down her mouth. And as you watch, she sinks her teeth into the news anchor's throat, and then you hear a terrified scream, and the camera suddenly turns and goes black as if whoever was manning it has run away. And as you're watching this, you suddenly hear a thump, and you look up towards the one window in the rec room. Up high, barbed wire to keep people from getting in because of all those heroin addicts, and there's someone clawing at the window. Someone or something, because as you look up at it, you realize its skin is sort of slightly green, and there's blood pouring down its face, and its nose is half gone. It's got hair like just sort of falling out in clumps down one side of its face. Its left shoulder is hanging down as if it's been broken, and it's just gnawing and thumping at the window like it's trying to get in. So why don't we first roll sanity?
I'm scared. No wonder they canceled that show. Let's
Where
see.
is my son?
I have failed.
I failed as well.
I guess you have to know your sanity to know how you did. I'm sure I failed. 69 out of...
Oh, I'm good. Everything's fine.
I failed for sure. Okay.
So Sam, you're still half asleep, so you barely notice this. It doesn't register with you. But everyone else, like Ethel and Gary, your table is right close to that window, so you can see it. And Nick, you're hyper aware of everything, as you lose 2 points of sanity for all of this that's just sort of happening around you. And as you hear the screaming coming from the television, it gets louder and louder until suddenly it just stops and the TV goes black. As presumably the poor news anchor has now been eaten. So you hear this thumping coming at the window. All the residents are just sort of looking around, except for Manuel, who's still got his ear trumpet going, "Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Where's the TV?" What do you do?
The first thing I'm going to do is get the remote and turn the TV off, and just say to the others, it's very irresponsible of them to put something like that on TV. People might take it seriously. Now, Sam, can you? We've got another junkie at the window. Can you just see whether you can chase them off?
Yeah, I'm gonna like kind of rock backwards and forwards a couple of times, and eventually be able to heft myself out of the seat. And is the window reachable by me, or is it like a skylight?
It's not a skylight, but it's pretty high up.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to stand on a table to reach it.
Cool. I'm gonna pick up a broom that's nearby. Walk over to the. I'm gonna kind of amble over and like hit the window and be like, "Oi, piss off!"
You just hear thud, thud, thud. How are Gary and Ethel reacting?
I need to find Nick. So is Nick within earshot of me?
Yes.
Nick, I think we have a problem. Is there a safer place we can go?
Look, there's nowhere safe.
Okay, Grandma.
Here. There's nowhere safe in the jungle.
Jesus Christ, not this again. Nick, we
need to think about this carefully. We need to get ourselves bunkered down in a good position. This could get serious fast, my dear. Now, what I need from you, we need supplies and weaponry.
Ethel, we've been through this before. Look, you're just scared because there was something silly on the television. Now we got a junkie outside. Everything's going to be all right. We do not have to start setting up punji spikes again.
Nick, I don't think that was a junkie. I've got my fidget spinner out now.
Are you sure, Nick? Because I'm fairly certain that the lovely lady wasn't she a lovely lady, that news girl? Wasn't she lovely? Anyway, I'm pretty sure she said there was a zombie attack and we need to shoot them in the head.
That was part of the program.
My ears work.
That was so as you all are arguing,
was it just a program?
As you all are arguing, please give me a listen roll.
Oh boy.
This is a good time to say that I'm not very good at listening.
Yeah, I failed.
Surprise.
Ethel it's arguing with Nick and can't hear a thing.
Okay.
I got under half. In fact.
Oh, you got a hard success.
Ooh.
I got under. Yeah, I got under half. No.
Okay, so you got a hard. All right, so Sam is the only one who hears this because the other three are too busy arguing while the creature above them is going at the window. But Sam, you're closer to the door, and you hear coming from behind you.
Can I turn around and have a look?
And as you turn to look, you see something shambling into the room just as you turn. It looks like it's an older person, or it used to be. You think maybe it was one of the residents. They're wearing a pink Hawaiian shirt and khaki shirt.
Sandra.
And they're wearing sandals with socks, and they've got long gray hair, or what's left of it. But you see these oozing sores on its face, and you see teeth falling out of its rotting mouth, and there's blood all over its face, and there's rips down the front of her shirt, and she's reaching out her arms towards you, going,
the power of Christ compels you. Bang.
Okay, give me a firearms roll.
Wait, are the elderly people all armed? Because I have assorted pens, for fuck's sake. That's my inventory. I have pens.
After
97.
Oh shit!
Is that a fumble? Is your skill?
Let's have a look.
Oh
My
boy.
skill. My firearms is 55.
Okay,
Ooh, okay.
not a fumble. But you fire, but your hands are shaking because you had to drop the broom and then pull out your gun, and it just sort of goes past her ear or its ear, and it just sort of stops.
Can I throw the broom at it? Like stab it in the face with the broom? Broom it to death.
Well, we're going to go into initiative order at this
Oh,
point.
Jesus Christ.
Because you also hear from the hallway.
Gary's going to take out one of his assorted pens and make a note to say, make your own fucking character sheet next time so that you can have a gun.
You picked this character, Guppy.
I
Don't
know.
blame me.
He's
Okay,
very
so
unprepared for this mission.
I already have your initiative order written down, so you don't need to look it up. So we're going to start with Gary. Gary, you are up first.
Okay, I would like to do, I guess it's a sort of maneuver. I would like to jump on Ethel, my grandmother, and try to like get her under a table for protection.
Okay, so you can try to drag her under the table you're both sitting at. Puzzle pieces go flying. Ethel,
Yes.
are you resisting this?
Ethel would like to resist this.
Okay.
Of course she would.
Have a contested strength roll here. So, yep.
That can't be a good stat for me.
I think I've got to fail because I think I'm an old lady. Yes, I have failed.
I feel good about this. Here we go. Oh, a 13.
Ooh,
That's a
okay.
hard success.
So, against your will, Ethel, Gary drags you under the table.
We can't be going under. No. Look, we have to get out. You need to fortify a position. I need to get weaponry and supplies.
Grandma, be quiet. Be quiet. You have to be quiet for once in your fucking life. We are about to die. Just stay under the table.
Needle. How am I meant to kill a zombie with a knitting needle?
Here, take this medicine. She still has her little cup of pills, right? I'm going to try to force feed those to her. on the hard success, I'm going to force feed her.
Yes, you're able to give her pills.
Okay.
Next in the order is Nick. Nurse Barry, what would you like to do? You've got an elderly zombie who's looks like it's about to start clawing at Sam. There was a gunshot that went off, so your ears are ringing, and you hear more moaning and groaning from the hallway.
Okay, so I mean, Nurse Barry is still in full-on denial mode. So he's just going to drop in fact, not even drop, just throw the pills and the remote control that he's got down on the ground, and just look at the zombie and say, "Look, Sandra, this kind of behaviour is unacceptable. I've told you before. You have to respect the other residents here. You are not the only person here. You have to behave. Please go back to your room before I have to ask Sam to take you back there."
You just hear and a hand reaching out very arthritically. So
I love that one of the patients is shooting guns and the nurse is scolding the other patient.
That's not a patient. She's
Sam's
I'm the security. I'm security.
Oh, security. Sorry.
Got a patient with a gun cup.
I got confused. The lethargic attitude confused
So
me.
as you're scolding Sandra, or what used to be Sandra, Nurse Barry, you hear a and shambling in, and Sam, you recognize this person, you think, coming in, because you see the same white sort of collared shirt for security with the black tie and the black slacks and a plastic beeper on one hip and a holstered weapon on the other. And this person comes in, and you think it might be Andy, your secondary and relief for later in the afternoon, but he's sort of shuffling, and it looks like 3 of his fingers have fallen off, and he's got gouge marks in his face, and one eyeball is just sort of dangling down. You see blood and gore trickling down, and he's got a massive wound in his head. And I think, Sam, I'd like you to give me a SAN roll first for this, because this is someone you work with.
Yes.
This is like a top 10 worst day at the nursing home.
I'm having a really bad day at my job. Yeah, I failed.
Okay. All right, so you're just going to take 1 point of sand for that. But you do see Andy or Zombie Andy come, like, sort of staggering in, and he's coming directly in your direction. So you now have 2 zombies in here. And it is your turn, Sam.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna shoot the new zombie that's appeared.
Okay, you're gonna shoot Andy.
Andy, because I'm freaking out, and I'm also like, oh my god, Lucifer's taken you, and I'm gonna shoot him, or attempt to anyway.
Oh no!
No, I'm not. The only one with a gun can't fire.
Can I spend my luck on her roll?
No, I was about to say it's point blank range, isn't it? So once you get
Yes, you would get a bonus die because he's coming up on you.
Oh, okay.
nice.
How do bonus die work?
So roll a d10. Roll a d10.
1d10. Okay. Okay.
So you fire point blank at him, but you're not used to the way he's shuffling because he's not standing straight. He's sort of hunched over, and you take his ear off. But his ear was only hanging on by flaps anyway, so it just sort of goes.
Oh, now I pissed it off. Shit.
Why is it had to be the competent security guard who died?
That's a great question.
I would like to remind everybody else in the room that you do have things you can improvise as weapons. So think to your zombie movies. But
The sword of pens, is that one of the potential items?
Ready.
Yeah. So next in the order is we're going to say that the other residents are going to act as a group just to make it easier.
Yes.
Poppy has stood up at this point and she looks around and sees what's happening. And she is, oh, Sandra, you bitch. And she pulls off one of her stilettos and she runs over to zombie Sandra and just starts wailing at her in the face with her stiletto.
I love Poppy. Yes.
I love Poppy too.
How dare you say my makeup is dated? I played Phyllis. And she's just hitting her over and over and over. And I'm going to see how well she does with her stiletto attack.
We know the next thing that's throwing poppycocks.
This old drag queen got an extreme.
Oh, nice.
So she's banging away at this zombie's face with her stiletto and saying, I did drugs with Judy, and I will not be spoken down to by you. And as you watch, her stiletto goes crunching through Sandra's skull just from the force of the blows. And Sandra crumples to the ground, and Poppy is in what you might call a bout of madness as she's just wailing into this broken skull over and over and over with her stiletto.
Go, Poppy! He's yelling. I'm yelling from under the table.
Manuel is still going, hey!
Hey!
Poppy! It is completely inappropriate to kill the other residents.
Only the staff can do that.
Ding dong, the bitch is dead, she says. And Randy, the conspiracy theorist, has jumped up on a chair, and he's standing there waving his cane in the air going, I told you the commie bastards would come for us. I told you they'd come for us. You'll never take this chair while I'm standing on it. And he's waving his cane as if that's going to do anything.
Can Ethel kick his chair over?
He's on the other side of the room.
Well, they rolled a group extreme, right? I'm expecting the residents to kill everything.
No, that was for Poppy.
That was just Poppy.
And Verity, the older lady who was on the couch, has ducked for cover behind the couch. So next up is Ethel.
Hey, Gary, get off me! Look, I need a... All right, so questions. First of all, Ethel, Ethel has a dagger somewhere. Does Ethel
Oh my
have the
God.
dagger nearby?
Jesus Christ, I'm going to die in 5
Give me a
seconds.
luck roll to see if your combat knife is hidden in this room. Let's see if you hid it in here.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Can Ethel roll with penalty die since she's pinned by me?
Not for a luck
For the
roll,
luck roll?
Copy.
No, I mean when she's going to stab me after this.
My knife is not in this room.
Okay. So you're thinking, like, where did I leave it the last time? I thought Nurse Barry was going to find it. Yep. I put it in my garter, and then I took it back to my room. It's in my room. So,
Bugger.
yep.
Okay, then she wants Andy's gun. So, Ethel is running at the security guard with the idea to take his gun out and then shoot him in the head with it.
I would love to oppose
I
this
love
if I can.
I may be getting opposed by my grandson.
Yes. So give me a pose dex to see if
Oh gosh, my
if
dex
you
is
can get away. Well, yes, because you're 87.
fail.
Ooh, I'm rolling hot against my grandmother. I succeeded.
Okay, so
didn't
Ethel, you're
expect to hear
struggling.
the phrase "hot against my grandmother" today.
Yeah, let me rephrase.
Phrasing.
I can do this. Look, I know what. Back in NAM, right? We used to do this drill all the time. Don't you worry, dearie. Just go back to your computers. Granny will deal with it. It's fine. But
It's okay. It's okay. He's petting her now. Like, calm down. It's okay. It's okay. Not this again.
He's petting her.
Sorry, this is getting
I am just
tawdry.
stuck under a table. No, sorry.
Oh my!
Is that new makeup, Granny?
So next, are you going to do anything else, Ethel?
Ethel wants to do many things, but Gary's not letting her. So what she's going to do is she's going to just sort of vaguely hit Gary with her knitting needle.
Could you elaborate on the many things?
She wants to stab a zombie, shoot a zombie, gather supplies. She has plans.
So you just sort of start hitting Gary's hand with your knitting needle to try to get him to let go of you.
Fun.
Yes. So, all right. Next up in the order, we're back up to the top of the round. So, Gary, it is your turn.
Okay. I feel like the motivation is just to keep Granny from getting killed. So just continuing to try to keep her from acting, I think, is what I'm going to do.
Okay. So, give me another opposed strength.
Okay.
And if you fail this one, Cuppy, then Ethel will be able to move without an opposed roll.
Oh my God.
Okay. So Ethel, on your turn, you will not have to make an opposed roll to get away from your grandson.
I wanted to tie, but it didn't work.
I think what happened is I stuck a knitting needle just in like a pressure point, and then like I did a little bit of jujitsu or something and just like turned Gary down and slammed him into the table, which he liked for reasons that let's not get into too much.
Yeah, this is not the first time that grandma's kicked my ass either.
So while this player versus player is going on over in the corner, Nick,
Can I
Join in, Slade, attack.
Can I lose some hit points for that, please? Okay.
Do you want to lose a hit point, Cup?
No, I mean, it's up to you.
No, I won't be that cruel because you'll need them later.
Yeah.
I mean, you might need them later. Okay, so Nurse Barry, it's your turn.
So
What would you like
obviously
to do?
this situation is getting completely out of control. Sam's firing a gun, people are slapping each other, and I need to. Yes, I need to get Sandra back under control. No, hang on, Sandra's dead.
Poppy.
It's,
Yes,
yeah.
Poppy.
Well, yeah, Poppy. That's right, Poppy. So I'm going to go up behind Poppy and just try to calm her down. Put a hand on her shoulder and say, "Look, you really can't be doing that. Please put the shoe down. I don't want to have to medicate you."
Poppy just sort of looks up at you, wild-eyed. She's like, "Let me at him. Let me at him. These bitches were always jealous of me. I'll get them. Never
Yes,
going to get the
yes,
blood and
well,
gore out of this stiletto. but I'll get him.
Yes. Well, let's go and sit down quietly before you ruin any other clothing, shall we?
Like, yes, I suppose I better put some cold water on this before the blood sets in.
Good. Come back here. And,
You start pulling Poppy away.
Well, looking dismayed at the corpse down on the ground and thinking about the legal liability that the home's in for.
So you're pulling Poppy away from the corpse.
Yes.
Andy the zombie is now reaching out towards you, Sam, like he's trying to grab you. What would you like to do?
I'd like to try and shoot him again.
Okay, you get a bonus die again because you're point blank range. Please get this one.
Come on, Sam.
Oh, there we
God.
go. There we go.
Is this good? Is this good news?
Yes, that's a 16. So
16.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so, okay, oh, cool, a 16. Okay, so yeah, that's a hard thingy. So,
Yes,
my God, do I need to roll damage?
Would you like to spend 5 luck to make it an extreme?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it becomes an extreme. So it's going to be damage plus damage. So roll your damage.
Okay. And then another damage dice?
No, it's going to be plus max damage. So 7
so
plus 8. Oh my God. So that's 15 points of damage. So you steady your hands, you take a deep breath. The power of Christ compels you to shoot this zombie. And you put a bullet point blank through Andy's brain. There is blood splattering. There's brain matter all across the wall behind him, and he just sort of rocks a little bit, like he can't quite believe that he's been shot. And then he crumples to the ground, and he is dead. So I'd like you to make a sand roll for that.
Yes.
And also,
Mm-hmm.
and also the big question is, are the donuts okay?
Yes. Well, they're still on the chair, so they're all right.
Andy's head is a
I'm
donut
okay.
now.
Are they
I'm not
covered in blood
insane.
and brains now?
Well, Andy was a zombie anyway, so it's okay.
Cool. Can I grab the gun?
Yes, you can grab his gun. You now have 2 guns.
Okay, I'm gonna immediately hand the gun to Ethel.
Jesus Christ.
Just like I know this woman. I heard her stories. I've listened to her for like 10 years or however long she's been here. Like, I just give the gun to Ethel.
So as you're handing turning and handing the gun to Ethel, who is climbing out from under the table, you hear.
I like to do the cough as part of it.
Yes, coughing zombie.
That sound is Gary seeing someone trying to give Granny a gun.
Like, no, don't do it. And coming in through the doorway is what probably used to be a female in very tight jeans and the remnants of a tight white top that's cut super low. And Sam and Nick, all of you actually recognize what used to be Annie, the receptionist from the front desk, who is this irrepressibly perky, cheerful blonde. Like, she was just happy to see everybody. She loved to talk to everybody. And she's still talking, kind of, except half of her jaw has fallen off. Her tongue appears to be missing, and so all you hear is this sound. She's got blood streaking all over her clothes. Her jeans are tattered. Her hair is no longer in a ponytail. It's all kind of matted, what's left of it. And her nose is missing. And she's just coming in.
Gary's thinking maybe he has a shot with her now.
Ethel actually turns. Ethel was going to turn to Gary and say, now why couldn't you marry a nice girl like that? She was free and you could have had her, but no, now she's a zombie and I'm going to have to shoot her in the head. And she takes the gun, checks the chamber, pulls it out, checks it, cocks it, makes sure the safety's off. Ethel has a gun.
Ethel has a gun.
Yeah.
So before Ethel goes, while Ethel is doing all of this, making sure the gun's loaded and everything, the others are going to act. So Verity has grabbed Manuel and pulled him down under the couch with her. His ear trumpet has gone flying when she did that, so he's just sort of peering through his thick glasses, looking confused and going, I can't hear anything. What's happening? Is it those kids again? Just this inane chatter over the chaos that's occurring. You still hear this thump, thump, thump against the window. And you have over in the corner Poppy, who's poured some water over her stiletto and is now trying to clean it as she sits in a corner next to a potted plant. And then she looks at it and she looks at the other one and goes, might as well have a match set. And she looks like she's about to rain some justice down. And then you have Randy still standing on the chair, says, better red than dead, better red than dead, just waving his cane in the air. And he looks at you, Nurse Barry, and says, get him, Nurse Barry. And so it is now Ethel's turn.
Ethel's gonna shoot a zombie in the head, move up nice and close, get to point blank range, take the time, aim. They're not moving particularly fast, and then try and shoot her in the head.
Okay, so give me a firearms roll with a bonus.
Did I get skipped? Did Gary get skipped?
No.
Oh, she has a gun. Shit.
You were at the top of the order. You already went. You were trying to keep Ethel under the table, and it didn't work.
I really don't want to let her shoot. Okay.
Too late. She rolled a 1 on her.
God damn it.
So that's the roll.
Oh.
So that's going to be a success.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, just I have firearms of 40, so it's just a regular success.
Okay. So roll your damage. That's going to be 1d8.
5.
Okay. Because you are shooting straight into her head, and this is a zombie, it goes straight through her skull. Her brains explode out the back. Gary, I'd like you to make a sand roll for seeing your grandmother kill someone.
Of course.
I like how I don't have to make a sand roll.
This isn't the first time this has happened.
It's not. This isn't pulp, but Ethel has the hardened condition.
I obviously failed. 83 out of 48.
Gary, you're going to take another 2 points of sanity for seeing your grandmother just shoot someone in the head and see their brains go everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Is this why she got kicked out of the last home?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm going to start questioning my grandfather's death at this point.
This ain't my first rodeo.
Sam's gonna look at Ethel and say, she's been blessed by God to fight the rising devils.
That's right, Dee. Exactly. Now, we need to fall back. This is not a good position for us to defend. We need to fall back.
Yes, Ethel.
Sam's going to scratch her belly
Ethel.
and then go, yeah, what she said.
Ethel, you cannot go around killing members of staff. We've talked about this before.
Nurse Barry, I don't think you realise what's going on, but the legions of the damned have risen from hell, and we are the holy warriors who need to destroy them.
And as you say that, and this time you have two people coming, or two former people coming through the door slowly. One of them is wearing just like this sort of blue house dress and Crocs. And hair that's sort of half in a bun. And the other one is what used to be a little old man with a walker. It's a zombie with a walker, just sort of walking through the door like it doesn't remember how to not walk without the walker, even when it's undead.
I like this one a lot.
And they're coming through the door, and their heads are tilted, and you see the blood coming down their faces. And the one with the walker, his right knee appears to have been broken. He's sort of dragging it along behind him. And the one in the house dress, both eyes are just like dribbling down her face. And they are coming into the room. Top of the order, Gary.
I'm gonna get my laptop out. I'm looking at my fucking inventory. I just want to take the laptop out of my backpack so I can use it as a shield if I need to fend off anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna just kind of carry that under one arm, and I'm gonna run to Granny and try to get her to stop shooting things, but at the same time thinking that if she's gonna shoot, then I want to be behind her.
Okay.
Now, Gary, you're perfect. What I need you to do is I need you to find us a fallback position. We need to fall back, all right? We need to get our way out of here, right? So you talk to that lovely little nurse man and find your way out of here, right? Go,
So-
Gary.
Is that just the one door that they're all coming through?
There's only one door into
Okay.
this room.
Okay.
There's a small toilet in the back, but it doesn't lead out. So you've got one door. And as you realize this, Gary, you see behind these two who have just come in, you see a large group of these elderly zombies staggering towards the door from the hallway outside. You've got an invasion on your hands
Lovely.
with walking.
Can we? Did I exhaust my turn, or can we flip the table over at least to like take cover behind it?
You already moved, so you could
That's fair.
go back and grab the table if you wanted to. And then if someone wants to help you on their turn, you can try to block it, but you already still have two zombies in there with you.
I'll save it for next time.
Okay, Nick, Nurse Barry.
Can I shut the common room door before anyone else gets shot?
You can try. You've got two zombies in the room between you and the door, so you'd have to do something about that.
I'm going to try to dodge between them, grumpily telling them to get out of the way while I go to the door and slam it shut.
Okay, so give me a dodge roll as they are going to grab at you. Better be a good one.
My dodge is... That is a failure at the moment. I can spend 12 points of luck to turn that into a success.
It won't beat a hard success.
Oh,
No.
just die.
I think I'll just die.
So as you're running towards the door, you think that because they're, old people that you can just barrel past them, but both of them reach out with these long, skinny, bloody hands going, hello, and they grab you. One grabs each wrist, and they're pulling on you, and they're pulling you back and clawing at your arms. So they have grabbed you. They have not bitten you yet, but we'll see what happens with Nurse Barry as we go through. You're almost to the door, almost. Okay, so next in the order, Andy the guard is dead. So next up is Sam.
Cool. Well, I'm going to see that my colleague has been accosted by the devils. And we have
Accosted by the devil is a great
accosted by the devils. So I'm going to use my large girth to run at one of the zombies and try and just slam them off into the wall or through.
You're trying to body slam one of them?
I'm trying to body slam the zombies, yeah.
Okay. Are you going for the little old man with the walker or the old lady in the house dress?
The one in the house dress is wearing Crocs, which is, an insult to God. So let's go for her.
Okay.
By the way, please tell me that there is a Christian rock album out there somewhere called "Accosted by the Devil."
If there isn't, there should be one after this.
I feel like there should be a parody one called Crocs for Christ, but
Crocs for Christ. Oh my god! All right, so give me a strength roll. See if you can barrel into them, because you're not trying to do damage, so it's not a brawl.
No, it's just I'm trying to get them away. What's my strength? 65. Can I spend some luck to bring that to success?
You can.
Yeah, I'll spend how many points of luck is that? 65. So 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you all see Sam like almost slow motion running, and then you realize it's not slow motion. That's just how slowly Sam runs, barreling into the old lady zombie with her massive gut. And it's almost like in a cartoon. The zombie goes boing and goes crashing against the wall. And I'd like you to make me a luck roll.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Sam! Sam's everybody's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
13.
Oh, is that a hard?
Do I need to look at my luck?
Mm-hmm.
My luck's 37.
So yes. So you hear a sickening crunch, and the zombie's head is now twisted halfway around, and it's lying collapsed on the ground in front of the wall.
My mother said Twinkies were for heathens only, but clearly they work.
I always thought hard luck was bad. I'll be here all week.
All right. So Nick, you only have one zombie clinging onto you now, thanks to your colleague. So yep, it is now the zombie's turn. And it grips onto your arm, Nick, and it's going to try and grab at your face.
Yes. Kill him.
Take his face off.
It does not
wear his face.
It does not succeed. Not on a 68. So it fails to grab your head, claw off your face, and eat your brain. So you've still got a zombie attached to you, but you might survive this one after all. Who knows? So next up is the residents. And Poppy goes, "Time for that match set." And she raises her other stiletto.
Yes.
And comes running at the zombie that's holding on to you, Nick. And she goes, "I never liked you either, Eddie." And she just goes whack into its face. Not quite as good as last time, but still a hit. And she looks at you, Nick, and she wide-eyed, and she hands you the stiletto and says, "You got this. I believe in you. For the palace."
I've never really been able to pull off sequins.
Don't worry, you can pull my sequins off later if you want to. She's just wide-eyed, spattered in blood after murdering a zombie, but she's still flirting with you. So you now have a blood-stained stiletto if you would like to try to use it on your turn. The others...
Yes. Okay. No, I was just saying yay.
The others are still hiding, with Randy yelling his crazy conspiracy theories in the background. You hear more zombies moaning and groaning in the hallway as they come close to the door. Gary, it is your turn.
Oh, great. So while I was waiting for my turn, I reviewed my character sheet. Is there any library use in this room? Is there any electrical repair I might do to kill the zombies? No, I think I'm gonna be doing this move now where I'm gonna try to protect Granny with a table or some chairs. So if we can start building a barricade, I would like to dedicate myself to that effort.
Okay, so you're gonna start like pushing tables and chairs up against the doorway. Okay.
Yeah, everyone who's human is welcome behind them, but
yeah.
Barricade.
But not the zombies.
Yes.
Okay, so you start pushing tables and chairs up against the door, which is fine. So
is the door closed now?
I did miss Ethel. Sorry, I missed Ethel. So
We have to go back to Ethel, yeah.
Yeah, we have to go back to Ethel. So rewind slightly. Ethel, before the door begins to get barricaded, what do? You've got zombies coming in the door towards you.
So I think Ethel, when the gun goes off and the smell of gunpowder is in the air, starts to sort of get like flashbacks, starts to remember. And so she turns to Gary and she goes, "Private, call in an airstrike." And then she just starts calmly moving towards the door, and she's going to just try and shut the door down, and she's going to try and barricade it off.
Okay. So give me a luck roll, Ethel, to see if you can close the door before this head zombie comes in.
And Gary's terrified of Granny at this point, so he's going to take his fidget spinner and act like he's calling it an airstrike.
That's a fail.
Okay. So one zombie has come in and standing between you and the door.
She shoots it in the head.
Okay, so give me a firearms roll with a bonus die for point blank range. Oh my god.
We need napalm at Weeping Willow.
That was a 47. I feel like I should spend that 7 luck, really.
Did you do your bonus? Oh, yes. Okay.
I have spent 7 luck and I had passed, so I roll a D8.
D8. Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
It's still the zombie point blank range through the skull, so brains still go splattering across the door. You're able to slam the door shut. So Gary, you can now start barricading stuff against the door. Mm-hmm.
Granny's fucking badass over. Into the fidget spinner. Gary's impressed, but probably losing sanity at the same time.
Yes.
And just start shoving, desks, chairs, anything that I can into the doorway.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nick, it is your turn. You have a zombie clinging to one arm, and you have a stiletto in one hand, stiletto high heel, and you have poppycocks egging you on. What do you do?
I will repeatedly slam the point of the stiletto into the zombie's eyes, or try to, while shouting, "I'm very sorry. This is very unprofessional of me."
Give me a fighting roll with a bonus die. Oh, I love this.
75.
Damn it.
Nick cannot bring himself to do this. He's hesitating.
Okay, so you're trying, but you can't, because even though you know intellectually it's a zombie, you also still know it's someone you've taken care of for several years.
It's a resident. They pay my wages.
I pay your salary. I should get to eat your brain. Sam, it's your turn. Sam?
Sorry, I was just having a little think. So, sorry, just to clarify, is the door open or closed still?
The door is closed, and Gary is piling furniture in front of it.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have a look around the room. You know the walls and stuff. Are they like hollow plasterboard kind of walls, or are they like proper stone brick and things?
They're brick. They're brick.
Okay, they're brick. Yeah. And so is the only other ways out like the windows?
There's the tiny window you don't think you could fit through.
Naturally.
Yeah. And it's got the barbed wire on it on the outside.
Okay,
but are you having a look around to see what you see?
Yeah.
Just be spot hidden.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Wow, you're rolling really well, except for that 197.
Yeah, that's under half to hard success.
Okay, so you're looking around, you're desperately trying to find another way that you guys could get out. You move over to the TV, which is next to where the toilet and everything are. And as you move over towards the television, you almost trip And you look down and you realize the reason you've tripped is because the TV cord is in front of you and it's not plugged into the wall.
I'm gonna be very confused and kind of look at the TV cord, and then the TV, and then kind of look at the zombies, and then look back again and what?
I have electrical repair if you want me to plug that in.
Can I try and turn the TV on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can try. So you go over to the TV, you push the button on the side, and it doesn't turn on. But with a hard success, as you push the button, you look down, there's this sort of low end table with magazines and things. Next to it on the floor, you see a sort of dusty stack of paper. And the top one, as it catches your eye, it looks to be a maintenance request for fixing the television. And it's dated this morning.
I'm so confused. What? Can I what?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what to do with this information.
So as Sam is confused over there, trying to figure out what's going on, it is the other resident's turn, and Poppy just dives for the floor and pulls the legs out from under Eddie, the zombie who's grabbed onto your arm, Nick. And so he is now on the ground, sort of struggling, and one leg is wrapped around his walker as he's just kind of flailing, going, and Poppy's saying, "Now, come on, Eddie. I know it's not your first time going down." And she just shoves him and just, "You can get him now, Nick. You can get him." And she has knocked him to the ground for you. He is struggling to get up, but can't seem to manage it. And the others are still hiding. Ethel.
Ethel turns to Gary and says, "Private, where's that airstrike?"
Oh, they said it would be here in some military time. 0300 something.
What is HQC? What's going on? What's HQC? I need information. Damn it!
Look over there.
And she turns and she's looking around. So she also wants to try and turn the TV on. So she's going to try and if that doesn't work, she's sort of looking around. She's trying to figure out more information. She's a bit confused and disoriented. Mm-hmm. She's looking around.
Okay, so you go to plug in the TV and it still doesn't turn on. Nothing's happening. You look down and the wire's a bit frayed, like it's been chewed through by a mouse or something. So it just doesn't turn on at all. As you're looking around, you can give me a spot hidden though, Ethel, as Gary has been moving furniture and things.
Oh, that's quite good. What's my spot hidden? Yes, that's a success.
Okay, so you're looking around. You're confused. You need to get updates from headquarters. What is happening? Did they send any messages? And Gary has been moving furniture up against the door, and so things have been moved around. And you see the couch has been kind of pushed back, and you see sticking out from under the couch is what looks like some kind of book, like a brown leather book, is sticking out from under the couch.
Sweet.
A book, you say?
Tome for Ethel. Yes. Ethel's going to look at the Mythos tome.
Okay, so you pick up the tome while you hear moaning zombies outside the door. Gary is stacking furniture. Sam is looking around in confusion. Nick is trying to figure out what to do with the zombie that is still clinging to his arm but has fallen on the ground with a murderous Poppy nearby. And
Ethel's
so
really calm. Really calm.
yes, this has got to be a message book from HQ, definitely. Definitely. Mm-hmm. So you start flipping through the book, and I'd like you to give me a library use roll.
God damn it.
Really that?
I couldn't have moved the couch in my barricade.
No. She has failed. She doesn't understand heads or tails of it, and it's because she's not wearing her glasses.
Yep, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah.
But you can give me an idea roll, Ethel.
Raw intelligence, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm good at that. 54, that's a success.
Okay, so you're having trouble making it out, but you remember that private, what was his name? New guy, you can't remember.
Private Gary.
You've seen it.
Dipshit.
You know he's good at deciphering codes and things. He works with signals. That's right. He might be able to figure out what's being said here. And it is now his turn.
Yes. So always keeping an eye on Granny. I'm wondering what she's into with this book.
You don't know what Granny's into.
Yeah, I don't. Am I seeing her read through a book, or what is?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
You can definitely see this because she's pulled it out. She's just sort of sitting there looking at it a bit confused.
Okay, Grandma, what are you doing? The zombies are coming through the door. We need your gun.
As Gary comes up to Ethel, she switches back and she's like, "Oh, my darling! Oh, how lovely to see you! Oh, how
Thank
you
God.
doing? Oh, it's good to see you. Oh, look at you. Oh, you're working hard. Oh, you're out of breath. Oh, that's so. Oh,
Yeah.
And she's just holding this book and she's sort of.
I'm up for a promotion next month, Grandma.
Fantastic. Look at
Got a new girlfriend in Canada. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. When can I meet her? Are you going to get married? When are you having kids?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will.
So what are you doing, Gary?
I think I just want to see what
holding this book.
she's got there, like because she's
So you see she's holding a small leather-bound brown book.
okay. Is it human leather?
There's no way you would know that.
It's just a question.
No, it appears to be like a very nice leather-bound kind of journal, like you'd get at a nicer stationery shop. Like that's what it looks like to you.
Okay, sure. So I'm just gonna kind of look over her shoulder because I don't think Grandma, in the heat of combat, is the type of person to pick up a book and start reading it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so can you give me a library use roll?
Yes, that's all I want. You can kill me right after this. Just want to roll library use one time. I'll probably get 100.
It'd be funny if you did.
Oh fuck.
Push.
God, it's not even
do you want-
close.
Do you want to push the roll? Push the
Yeah,
roll?
I was gonna say the way that I'm gonna push it though is I can't make it out. I'm actually gonna snatch it away from Granny, like take the book away from her.
I was hoping that's what you'd do. Okay, do it. Push
Okay.
the roll. Oh,
Oh shit! Okay, so that is a hard success.
Mhm.
Yeah, hard.
Okay. So as this chaos is going on around you, you snatch this book out of your grandmother's hands, and Ethel, like, you don't even quite remember why you had this to begin with. Maybe you were going to give it to Gary anyway. But Gary, you notice.
Do I get more juice if I spend luck to make it extreme, or is it about the same?
Yeah, you'll get some more info if you make it an extreme.
Okay, I'll spend 4 points of luck
Okay.
to do that.
So with the extreme. All right. So on the front, you notice because your fingers kind of brush the front, it's embossed with a name. The name says Walter Carmichael on the front. And you know this name, Gary. You've been visiting your grandmother here enough. You know that Walter Carmichael is one of the older residents. He's been here for quite some time, has no family. He was living alone and was finally persuaded to come here. He's Otto's roommate, the one with all the machinery. You haven't seen him today. Otto said that Walter had a bad headache, but you know him, keeps to himself, doesn't really like everybody else. Just is very quiet, retired, spends a lot of time with his books. So that's the first thing you get.
Is this future Gary? Is this me in the future?
Probably, except with computers instead of books.
Right.
So as you think about, that's Walter's. I wonder how this got here. Did he leave it here by accident? Maybe I should return it to him if he survives this. You start flipping through, and a lot of it is just day-to-day stuff. You see things like he used to work as an antiquarian, so he would sell antiques. So just very meticulous note keeping. Oh, that's boring. Blah 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 blah. Go through faster. And he mentions something about finding this really old book that told some interesting stories about something. And that he was going to spend some more time with it and maybe learn something. And then flips, he talks about being bored in the nursing home, how stagnant everything is, but this book is really interesting and it's keeping him going. And then you start to see strange squiggles in the writing. It doesn't look like language to you. It's something very strange and different. And like the chaos behind you, the noise and the groaning of the zombies and everything sort of dies away as you're trying to focus on this. You see something about eternal life for a split second there, and then you see a name, and you've never seen this name before, and it means nothing to you, but it sort of burns itself into your brain, and it starts like hurting your head. You feel sort of like wriggling around in your brain as you read this, and you see the name Mordigian. And as you see this name, like your head just begins to hurt and you feel just like massive pain in your skull. And first I'd like you to make me a power roll.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm checking my mythos. It doesn't look like I have any of that.
No.
55 is certainly borderline. I would like to spend 5 points of luck to succeed there.
Okay. So you feel like this pain building in your head, but you're able to fight it off. Like, no, I've got grandma to take care of. I've got other things to deal with. I can't have a migraine right now. And then I'd like you to make a sanity roll as this name sort of burrows into your brain.
Okie doke. I failed.
Okay.
Barely, but I failed.
Okay. Please lose 4 points of sanity.
No problem.
And I think as your involuntary reaction to reading this name and feeling this pain in your head, you just sort of let out a startled cry and you drop the book. So the rest of you, as you're dealing with zombies and patients who are going murderous and everything else, you just all of a sudden hear Gary go, ah, and a thud as a book hits the floor. So
did I hang on to my laptop at least?
Give me a luck roll.
You never ask the keeper questions. Should have
learned this by now.
Roll 20 is not even letting me do it. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, so
I juggled the laptop, actually.
Yeah, you've still got your laptop under one arm. It's fine. So you've still got it for now. So
very nice.
So you have the name Mordigian. You have an idea of an eternal life kind of ritual, and you have Walter's journal. So that's what you spend your turn doing.
Did I get any juice on my mythos learning all this cool stuff?
Let's see. I'll get 1 point of Cthulhu mythos.
Okay, I'll be spending that before we're done here.
For reading the tome, yes.
Yeah, I'll be rolling against that soon.
Yes, you will. Did I say that out loud? Oops. Okay. So while this is going on, Nick, what are you doing about this zombie on the ground and this murderous-eyed and flirtatious drag queen.
What I'm going to try to do is put one foot on the zombie's chest while it's down on the ground to keep it pinned there, and with my hand try to keep Poppy away from it, and just say to her, Poppy, darling, I like you very much. You're very special, but you have to stop killing people.
It's a zombie, darling.
It's a resident.
You have to go over the top when it's the zombie apocalypse.
But I will carry on.
It's a zombie murder eleganza extravaganza. Kill the bitch.
I think...
I don't want him to eat you, Nick.
Yes, I don't want him to eat me either, but I think we should try to keep things in perspective here. That there might be a gas leak, we might all be suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning or something like that, and just seeing zombies. We have to stop killing people until we know what's going on.
She puts both hands on her hips, and she's got runs in her stockings and everything. She's sort of standing there, and her wig is slightly sliding off, and she goes, "He dead." And she points down at him, and she points down at the nose that is sliding off of his face. He dead.
She's not wrong.
He may be dead, but he's still a resident.
That's not the first time you've said that.
No. Today.
Is that all you're gonna do, Nick?
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to try to stop. I'm going to try to stop Poppy from killing other residents.
Okay. So you've got your foot planted on this struggling zombie's rib cage, and it's going. And it's
you,
clawing
Eddie,
at your leg.
And you, Eddie, unless you stop trying to bite my ankle, you are not having Jello after your dinner tonight.
Okay, so next up is Sam.
Okay, well, I'm really confused by this television. I'm going to whirl around, and I'm going to see that there's this demon creature trying to eat Barry, and I'm going to shoot it.
Oh, for fuck.
Okay.
Yes.
So, so give me a roll.
Some days you just can't keep the residents alive, no matter how you try.
Can I push the roll?
Fan your gun.
You can't push a firearms roll, but if you were gonna do multiple shots, you could, but it'd be at disadvantage.
And is she not at point blank range?
Did you move up to him and shoot him in the head?
I'd say yeah, like because I'd say I'd moved up and gone to like bang.
Then I'll give you the point blank range. Yeah, okay. Give me a bonus die.
Do it.
My firearms is 55. Can I spend the 2 points of luck?
Yes, you can spend the 2 points of luck.
Okay.
We're gonna lose luck faster than the Ain't Slave Nobody main cast.
I need 1 point.
There are about to be a lot of open beds in this.
Well, you're still you're still shooting him point blank in the skull through the brain, so it's going to blow his brains out regardless. So, Nurse Barry, your ears start ringing. You stagger back a little bit from this really close gunshot, and you see Eddie's brains just splatter. And I think I'd like you to make a sanity roll for this, because you were actively trying not to kill him.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I make it, but still, I mean, I'm staggering back, looking furiously at Sam and saying, do not think for one moment that this will not come up during your next performance review.
I'm gonna look at Nurse Barry and be like, this is the rapture. We're being accosted by the demons of hell. Whilst we fend them off and wait for the Lord Jesus Christ, I really don't think I have time to worry about my one-to-one right now.
So you hear a lot of banging on the door. but you have successfully neutralized the zombies. We are out of initiative for the moment. What would you like to do?
Oh,
I'm going to kind of put my hands up and say, look, we just need to hold this position, hold here, until the Lord Jesus Christ comes on his white horse and saves us all. We just need to ride this one out, guys.
is there any hope
And
of
then I'm
getting
going
out
to
of
pick
that?
up the bag of donuts, which is covered in blood, open it, reach in and eat one.
Ooh, jelly. Is there any shot of getting out of this window, or is it totally barred?
It's barred. It's also really small, and it's
What's my
also got a
size?
zombie banging on it. But most of you probably wouldn't be able to get out, and Ethel would probably break a hip.
I assumed we'd be leaving Sam behind. I'm Frodo in this case. Can I like go up to the barricade and listen to see if any more are coming? Because maybe we can go to Granny's room.
Okay, so give me a listen roll.
I guess I should check to see if I'm good at things before I suggest them.
It might help.
Yeah, that's a success. I'm actually not that bad at listen.
Okay, so you listen as best as you can through all of this furniture and everything, and you hear some faint moaning, but you don't hear anything right outside the door.
That could just be residents. Let me. I'm going to relay that message to everyone in the room. I think I hear more of them out there, but they sound really far away. How much longer can we live in here? We haven't eaten in an hour.
Sam's just eating the donut, stops, looks down at the bag, and then like puts them behind and tucks them into her belt, like underneath her shirt, and then quickly finishes the donut and goes like, I'm sure that this other thing we got a vending machine.
And I think I'm holding on to the book if you'll let me after I snatched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Ethel, you're correct. We need to hold our position here.
What's that?
Here.
Hey?
And not move.
What's that? Oh, me. Okay, I guess. Ethel goes and finds her knitting needles and begins knitting. Just a little bit
We should
like.
absolutely. Oh, sorry.
No, you can go.
You're not in
should
charge anymore, Nick.
absolutely Stay in here. We should absolutely stay in here until we know what's going on. Because at the moment, you people keep killing each other. You keep killing residents. We cannot keep doing this.
No, Sparrow, what don't you understand about a zombie apocalypse? There are zombies everywhere.
What I understand, because I seem to be the only person here who hasn't lost his mind, is that there are no such things as zombies.
I'm just going to point at the floor.
Yeah, they're everywhere, right?
The floor and be like, that's a zombie. That is what rises from the ground when the Lord deems you unworthy and has decided that we're all going to get eaten unless we can prove ourselves for salvation and not die.
What is more likely, that there has been a gas leak somewhere and we're hallucinating, or that perhaps someone managed to get their medication into the jello again and we're all hallucinating, or that the dead are rising? I really worry that we have leapt to this zombie conclusion a bit too quickly. And when it comes to, say, killing people, that is a dangerous thing to do. Can we, at least until we know exactly what's going on, I don't know, just stop fucking killing people?
Ethel's doing her knitting and she's just, Gary, my darling, be a dear,
Yes.
would you get that TV on for me? Would you just do it for old Granny?
It's actually a good idea. Let's see if maybe the news has something else to repel these things. I'm going to turn it on if I can. If maybe stand on a chair.
Yep, you stand on a chair, push the button.
Okay. Am I smart enough to see that it's unplugged?
Sam plugged it back in. It's
Oh,
still
she
not-
did. Okay.
Mhm.
It's like got
okay.
a chewed wire, so
Okay. So yeah, trying to do that, failing. Can I use electrical repair to fix the wire? Even if it's like extreme. Maybe I can find some duct tape in my bag.
I mean, you can give me a luck roll to see if there's duct tape in your bag.
Okay. Who wouldn't carry duct tape around? Let's see. Maybe it's just electrical tape, a smaller roll. Luck is a fail for sure. 70.
Yep. So
way.
no, you look at this chewed wire and you're like, nope, I don't have anything for this.
Okay.
Seeing what he's doing, say, look, if you need something to insulate those cables, go to that first aid kit over there and get a Band-Aid out and use that.
Okay, Nick. I would like to take a tranquilizer if they're just lying around.
This is not the nurse's station. There are no tranquilizers anymore.
They all took their meds. Okay, that was a mistake to give it to Granny.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go back to Granny who's knitting then. I don't think a Band-Aid's going to fix a cable. I'm not.
Yeah. So,
Of course it is.
Nurse Barry, what are you doing? Are you just sitting there, or what are you doing?
I'm standing in the middle of the room watching these fucking maniacs carefully because I cannot trust any of them not to suddenly go on fucking killing sprees.
So as you're doing that, Nurse Barry, give me a spot hidden.
Oh God. Someone's been bitten, haven't they?
Spoilers.
Oh no! I am happily and mercifully oblivious to whatever this is.
Gary and Sam can also give me one, but not Ethel, because of where she's seated, and also she's knitting, so she's not looking around.
Do you want a knitting roll? I've got a lot of points in knitting.
I'm not going to be looking round, but I have a walkie-talkie. Can I take the walkie-talkie out and see if anybody is on any of the channels?
Yep, you definitely can.
Ethel's knitting a gun cozy.
No, she's knitting for the homeless babies. She saw a news article about the homeless children. So she's knitting.
I did succeed.
Okay, so as you're looking around at this TV, Gary, before you go back to Ethel, there's this like potted plant, those fake kind of palm trees that they put everywhere in nursing homes and offices and things, and you see something sticking out of the potted plant. It's just something sticking out in the back there. Like you almost didn't see it, but you noticed it as you were climbing down from the chair.
Is it a power cable?
You don't know.
Replacement cord. I am going to look at it, unless it's like a living hand, and then I'm not going to get close to it.
It's not a hand.
It's like coming out of the dug grave, but it's a tiny potted plant.
So you look at this thing. It looks like a small kind of black box, and you pull it out. It's a box with a button on it, and you look at it, and you realize this is a taser. It is a homemade, kind of cobbled together taser, but it is a taser. And Nurse Barry, you recognize this as Otto's. You had to confiscate a similar one from him earlier this week. He must have hidden this one before you could get to it.
Yeah, Gary, can I suggest that you handle that thing carefully? Otto, he's a very clever man. He's a very creative man. But the last time I took one of those off him, it didn't quite work the way he meant. And every time he pushed the button, it would shock his thumb very badly. So I suggest putting that down and backing away carefully.
I'd like to use sleight of hand to act like I'm putting it back, but to not actually put it back.
Okay, give me sleight of hand. So much subterfuge.
If that's admissible. Shit. That's a lot of luck to just trick Nick. Is there any way I could let me think here. I was trying to push the roll by kind of distracting Nick, maybe I can say like, "Oh my God, Sam!"
Okay, yeah. She's having a heart attack. Too many donuts.
Yes, exactly.
Have I?
Get her some insulin. Let me roll here. Oh boy. Yeah, do what you will. That is not going to do it.
Oh,
So, Nick, you see that not only is Gary not putting it away, but you know that he's lying about Sam because Sam is standing right next to you and is not showing any signs of being in danger. So he's still very obviously trying to put the taser in his pocket. What are you going to do about this?
But I'm not getting tased. This is the best day of my life.
yeah.
Yet.
Scott's so pissed.
I know. Rina is a much nicer keeper than I am.
Oh, just wait. Just wait.
I'll just cross my arms and stand there and give him my best disapproving senior nurse look.
Okay, so as he's doing that and you're still shoving the taser into your pocket, give me a luck roll.
Oh shit. I need to learn to shut the fuck up sometimes.
Well, I was just
Granny used to tell me that.
I was waiting to see what Scott was going to do because that determined what would happen.
Of course I rolled an 89.
So as you shove this into your pocket, it's really big and bulky, and you kind of push halfway down on the button, not all the way, but you push on it and you start feeling this bolt of electricity going through you, and you start convulsing, and everyone else you see Gary convulsing and shaking, and you're going to take
These skinny jeans, damn it.
okay, so you're going to take 5 points of damage for that.
5.
Sam
Holy
is
shit.
going to suddenly see that Gary is convulsing and twitching similarly to the zombies that have come through the door. And is going to immediately smack him round the back of the head with the gun just to be like, ah!
That's also a major wound for me. I just want to point that out.
Give me a con roll.
For fuck's sake. My constitution is not very good. Okay. I guess I should have shared this screen as I rolled a 14.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
conscious.
You're still conscious, but you are convulsing, and you manage, like, the taser stops, but you're still shaking, and your hair, what's left of it, is standing on end, and like there's
What's
this,
left of it?
in betwixt all the other smells of blood and gore and everything else in this room, it now smells like burnt Gary. So
Hot IT guy.
so while this is happening, Nick Barry, would you give me an idea roll?
Oh shit.
And while you're doing that, Ethel, how are you reacting to your grandson being tased by
I was
himself?
going to say she's going to rush as over towards her darling. Oh, my darling, oh no. Oh, did you get a boo-boo? Oh no, I know, darling, I know. And she is going to attempt to kiss it better.
The only thing worse than accidentally tasing your own junk is having your grandma kiss it better afterwards.
Oh no!
Grandma, they got me with the nerve gas.
Are you trying to first aid him, Ethel?
She is attempting a grandmotherly first aid.
Okay.
Good.
So
Comfort
roll first aid for me. How did your idea roll go, Nurse Barry?
I got an extreme success on the idea.
Oh, an extreme. Okay.
Oh no, Grandma.
Grandma did not kiss it better and just unfortunately fondled it instead.
It was one of those hairy mole kisses. Oh,
Sorry.
Grandma,
This
it's so
now.
gross.
I love this so much.
Oh, did I hear anything on the walkie-talkie?
You did not.
Okay.
Just static. I mean, the person on the other end was Andy, and he like you just hear
Just
your
like
own voice
him
coming
twitching.
from walkie-talkie. Yeah. All right. So Nurse Barry, on your extreme, You have several ideas. Let's put it that way with an extreme. So the first one is that Gary will probably need some medical attention at some point, and the nurse's station is in the residential wing. The second thought that you have is, as you look down at this idiot who just tased himself, you see Walter's journal on the ground. You recognize Walter's journal. He writes in it all the time. You haven't seen it in a little while, but you know that's his. This and the taser sparks another idea. You haven't seen Walter or Otto. The last time you saw Otto was this morning when you confiscated his little beeping device, and he wandered off. He has not been one of the zombies that came in. You haven't seen Walter at all today. The morning nurse said he had a migraine and wanted to not be disturbed. Which also makes you realize there are other residents out there, and all of them might not be zombies yet, which leaves you with a moral dilemma. So while you are pondering that moral dilemma, Gary, give me a luck roll to see if your laptop survives this.
Just the shock. Oh, sure. Let's see. I have no more commentary to add after I'm done with my turns. I failed.
Okay, so as you tase your own dick, you collapse to the ground, your laptop falls out of your twitching hands, and it crashes to the ground, and you hear a crash. And you're pretty certain that the inside is shattered from falling so hard to the ground. So no more laptop, at least not functionally. So
that was my personal laptop. It wasn't the company's. Sanity Roll. God damn it! I said I wasn't going to talk anymore. Okay.
All right.
I think I'm gonna kind of turn to Ethel and sort of Barry. Gary, I can tell is a wet blanket, so he's not going to be much help here. I'm going to look at them and say, maybe we should try and move rooms just slowly.
We do need to check that the other residents are all right, but I cannot emphasize this enough. We are not going to shoot anyone while we're doing so. Do we understand?
If they're a zombie and they attack us, I'm absolutely going to shoot them.
Sam,
Ethel just reloads the gun.
Repeat after me. Can everyone here repeat after me? There are no such things as zombies.
Killed a zombie once.
Though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil. I'm going to start moving like the chairs and the tables out the way of the door, but I'm going to do it quietly because I don't want to like attract zombie attention.
Mm-hmm.
As quietly as a very, very large woman who is clearly on some kind of religious vendetta can.
I can't imagine Sam has ever done anything quietly in her life.
Probably not.
Like when like occasionally when she bends to pick something up, she like lets out a little burp like
This is like trying to open a can of soda quietly.
So Gary, you're still on the ground. You've still got the taser. You're not feeling super great, but So as you're sitting there,
what the fuck?
You hear a groan, and you look over and see that zombie that Sam bounced with her belly up against the wall, starting to move.
I forgot about that.
And you hear a groan. What would you like to do?
Oh my god, all of my ideas are bad. Can someone else take my turns? My idea, I know the taser works now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to take the taser. I think it's had enough time to recharge or whatever they do. And I'm going to try to run over and tase it in the head.
Okay, so give me fighting brawl with a bonus die.
I should have checked my fighting skill. It is not good. All right.
Good luck.
Oh, the bonus die, though. That's very generous. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is not my number. So we're going to need a good roll on a D10 here. I'll be looking for a 2 or less. Let's see. 44. And I need to get to Yeah. Let me actually check my skill. It's 25. So I'm going to spend the luck to get
19.
there.
Yeah, 19
Okay.
points.
We do big luck spends on this show. All right. So you put the taser up against this zombie's head as it starts like sort of shifting and trying to pull itself up. And you realize it's got a bunch of broken bones, but the head was undamaged. And as it groans, you shove the taser into its skull. And I would like you to roll 2d6 plus 6.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, you're lucky I didn't hit you with all of that when you tased yourself.
Thank you. Okay, 12.
Okay, so as you tase this zombie in the forehead, it starts convulsing, and it groans louder. And you look down at it, and you see an old woman's face, just shaking, convulsing, eyes wide, screaming in terror. And then you see a zombie, and keep shaking, keep shaking, keep shaking. And then you see an old woman's face again. And as you pull the taser away and you see the zombie just sort of collapse, you see its face slowly start changing into an old woman's face. It is bruised, it is battered, it is burned from a taser, but it doesn't look like a zombie.
Oh my God, we're fucking murdering people.
And I would like you to give me a sanity roll.
Nick was right. I'm gonna. You shock something. It's like the skull and then the face.
You just
this
murdered
is
an old woman, Gary.
okay. I will roll this and hopefully. I'm so nervous. I'm trying to roll it in the Twitch chat. Let me.
Did you?
Oh, I just said rolling 100 because I'm terrified. No,
Oh, I was so excited.
I rolled 11. Yeah, that would have
Okay.
been fun.
So you're not going to take the big damage, but you are going to take 5 points of damage for this sanity loss for this.
You said points of damage. I was like shitting myself. Okay.
5 points of sand loss for this.
Okay.
This horrible realization.
As horrible as this is to say, I don't even think I need an int check because I've lost 1/5 of my sand.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so Gary.
Yes.
You just killed somebody, Gary. You just murdered an old lady. Like you just murdered an old woman, Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, how's your promotion gonna go now, Gary? If they find out you murdered an old one,
Yeah.
it's not gonna go well. If anybody finds out, your girlfriend will probably leave you, and you finally got one after all these years. You finally
She's
found
not real,
someone
but
who put up with you. Like, yeah. Like, no one will. Even Gary, even your cats will leave you. Even your cats will leave you.
Yeah.
And you can't have cats in prison, Gary. So you've got to get rid of the evidence somehow. You've got to make sure that nobody ever finds out what you did.
Okay.
You can't be Gary, the old woman killer. You can't.
No,
it's just
get
not.
rid
It's
of her
just not.
face. Yeah. Everyone in here thinks she's a zombie. So yeah.
Yeah. Everyone thought she was a zombie. So
Yeah. I think the best way to handle this, Nick, I think the logical thing to do, because there's not that much in here. I think the only logical thing to do is try to either burn her face off with the taser, or like I can't just rip her face off, right? I don't have that kind of strength.
You've got your laptop shell. You can still you could use that. You've
Just
got
beat her to a bloody
legs.
pulp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna beat her head in until she's unrecognizable.
So everyone else, you saw
Warning.
Gary go tase this zombie, and he's kind of blocking her, so you don't see what's going on. But then you see him grab his laptop and just start beating her head in over and over. There's blood and brains and gore everywhere.
I'm just going to shout, yes, Gary, destroy the head or destroy the brain.
Don't actually know. As he's grabbing the laptop, and starting to smack her head in, I want to try to grab him by the scruff of the neck, pull him away, and just shout, "No! Stop killing people!"
And I'm gonna try to fight against that. Like,
all right, contested strength.
God damn you, Scott.
Oh, this is so much fun.
I rolled. Oh my God, we both rolled well.
I could spend 3
Wow.
points of luck and turn that into an extreme.
Can I spend all my luck to turn that into an extreme as well? Can I turn mine into a 1? No. What happens if we tie? Is that good or bad for me? I can't remember.
His strength is higher than yours, so he wins.
So if he turns it to extreme, I can't do anything.
Yeah, unless you go to a critical by getting it down to a 1.
But then can he outspend me then to get his to a 1?
I can.
He can.
Okay, well, I know he will, so I don't think I'm going to do that.
Okay, so Nurse Barry, you see this young man grabbing his laptop and he's raising it over his head, and you know what's coming. So you lightning fast reach over, grab him, pull him away, and yell, "No more killing!" And you look down, and you see the resident's face, dead, just
And
murdered.
at this point, I just turn round to everyone else with a look of absolute triumph on my face, raising my finger and say, "I told you so!"
But I would like you to give me a sanity roll for that at the same time.
Excited insanity.
I'm still taking the furniture away from the door. I'm
Yes.
ignoring them.
Ethel, what are you doing while this is
91.
happening? 91. Ouch. Okay,
Help me, Grandma. I'm in trouble.
Well, I mean, you weren't quite convinced all the entire time, but you just realized that a bunch of your residents are dead, so you're going to take 3 points for that.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ethel, I think, has decided that it's time for her nap. And so she is sort of standing beside Sam, sort of congratulating her. Very well. Very good, dearie. Very good. Well done. When I was your age, I was in the war. See, in Vietnam, we had to train very hard for all sorts of things, to be honest with you, all sorts of things. One of the things that,
So Ethel's chatting and then slowly falling asleep. And Sam, you pull away all the furniture. You open the door. You push it open. Makes a creaking sound. You poke your head out. And you see a bunch of these zombies just sort of standing around.
Cool.
Like you see a couple shuffling down the hallway, but they don't appear to be coming towards you. And they don't seem to have noticed you yet.
Okay, I'm going to reach into my back pocket, take out the bag of donuts. Going to open it up, reach in and take out a powdered donut. Look at it forlornly. Apologise to it. And I'm going to lob it down the hall to try and distract the zombies and make them go in the opposite direction.
They are bloodsoaked.
But before I throw it, I'm going to take a bite.
And with that, shall we take a short comfort break?
Sounds like a plan.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So this could go very quickly, depending on what you do next. It could take a little bit longer. Who knows? But we'll see where we go from here. So Sam had just unblocked the entire door and opened it. She looked out. She saw that there were a bunch of zombies shuffling around, but none of them were really paying any attention to the door. And she sacrificially took a bite out of a donut and then threw it down the hallway to try to distract the zombies. While she was doing that, our dear sweet Gary had murdered an old lady, realized he'd murdered an old lady, went into a bout of madness, tried to destroy the evidence only to be stopped by Nurse Barry. And Gary, you still have this compulsion to destroy evidence and make sure no one ever finds out you murdered someone. The only problem with that is Nurse Barry now knows that you murdered someone. So we'll see how that resolves. And Ethel was taking a nap on the couch. So
He's not reliable, though. He thinks we murdered all these people.
That's true.
I've not
so
taken a nap on the couch. I'm sleepy and I've decided to go back to my room.
Yes. You were standing next to me, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes. And so Ethel is ready to go. The other residents, Poppy is leading them, and she just looks at you, Nick, and she says, I'll just keep them here and block the door when you're gone. I don't like the idea of Manuel wandering around out there. He might shout them to death.
Yes, that's for the best. But yes,
But
if we
you can take my stiletto with you.
no, I'll say, and drops on the ground. It looks better on you. But if you hear us come back in a hurry, please do let us in. The code word will be ah!
There's been a lot of that, though. How will I know it's you?
You'll know.
Well, true. I'd always know it's you, darling. And she flicks some of the sequins over her chest and winks at you. Randy, on the other hand, the conspiracy theorist, is hobbling over on his cane, going, "I'll go fight those commie bastards with you. I'll take them down. They can't take my land from me. I will." And he's just going on and on.
Randy.
Have you considered letting Randy go first?
No. Randy, I don't know if you know this about commies, but if they bite you, you become a commie too. So why don't you just stay here and keep yourself safe from the Red Scare?
I didn't know they could do that. The bastards. Is it the fluoride?
Can they do that? Can they?
Y'all need Facebook.
Gary, can they do that?
I read it. I read it online. I don't know.
Oh,
And
that's fine.
Randy's just. I should stay here and protect the ladies and Manuel.
Yes.
And
yes, that's right.
I can't let those bastards bite them. And he's just like wobbling as he's holding on to his cane.
That's it, Randy. Keep the common room safe for democracy.
But Nurse Barry, can you get my hat from my room, the tinfoil one, just in case.
Of course,
Okay,
Randy.
Okay. And he just like stands there trying to look brave, but he also looks very scared about this idea of becoming a commie through getting bitten. So he's just standing there, and Poppy is just looking a little confused, and Verity has passed out under the couch in sheer terror. So Manuel is still confused and has no idea what's going on. But Poppy starts pulling over furniture, like, go.
Now, dearies, where are we going?
What we're going to check on the other residents. We're going to check on Otto. We're going to check on Walter, and we're going to try to get them back here.
Oh, I like Walter. Shall we go see Walter? Gary, my dear, do you want to meet my friend Walter? He's very nice.
Get out of here. Go. Leave me here. I'll catch up with you. Go.
Dee Dee. No. She takes it. She like links arms them. We're going to go meet my friend Walter. He's darling, Ducky, darling. You love him. Oh, he's
take this.
Love meeting you. And she just like walks Gary out the room unless Gary.
No, I'm fighting her.
Did the donut effectively distract the zombies, or are you walking into them?
They didn't seem to notice. Just you saw one of them just kind of go.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of shove out the room, and I'm gonna kind of, as Ethel and Gary are hubbling towards me, hubbling? What, that's not a word. Are coming towards me, shuffling. That's the one. I'm gonna wave my hand and make a hunker down thing, as if like they should sneak. But obviously, I'm huge, so it doesn't really look that way. It just looks a bit like a wobble. And then I'm gonna make my way out into the hallway.
Does hubbling mean you move like a space telescope?
Yes. Slowly and with a lot of effort.
So are you going down into the residence wing?
Yes. I
Okay.
guess we're heading that
Not
way.
voluntarily. I'm not doing anything voluntarily.
Ethel is trying to bring you with her. So if you're trying not to be dragged along, it'll be an opposed strength roll.
Okay, I have business to attend to in the common room.
You want to mutilate a corpse.
Killing all the witnesses.
Oh my gosh.
Old lady strength. I'm on a success.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, Grandma.
Yeah, so Ethel, he pulls away from you, and he's like, no, I'm not going. What are you going to do about this?
Okay. What's Ethel doing?
Yes.
Poppy dearie, shall we go visit Walter? I know you like Walter.
Poppy sees. Is he going to take care of the others then? Gary, are you going to take good care of them?
Yes. Yes.
Ethel and Poppy, arm in fucking arm. There
Yeah,
we
so
go. That's
Poppy's holding up a stiletto and goes, okay, as long as the others are taken care of.
I'll fortify the rec room. Don't worry about the fucking rec room. Don't ever come back here.
And so Poppy takes her stiletto and links arms with Ethel and like totters out with you in her blood-stained orange sequin gown. And she pauses for a second to slightly adjust her wig. There we go. Come along. And so do the rest
Ethel
of you.
knew a few drag acts back in Nam, so she's cool with it.
Yeah, and Poppy is a very good drag queen. So you all, except for Gary, move out into the hallway, and you try to move very quietly. You notice that they don't seem to be paying you all that much attention. The zombies don't. Nick, have you relayed to the others that they're not zombies?
Yes, yeah, because I did the whole "I told you so" thing back in the common room.
Did you show them? Did you show them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That was evidence. I was right.
Okay.
Oh, you think I'm going to keep that to myself?
Okay. So I need Sam and Ethel at this point.
Ethel wasn't paying attention.
Okay. Ethel was getting sleepy.
Roll.
Give me a luck roll, Ethel, to see if you were paying attention enough.
Oops, that's not how you do it. My bad.
So I rolled 100. I don't know if that's good or bad here.
I got under my SAN by a lot.
Okay. So you're just gonna lose, Sam. You're gonna lose 3 points of SAN for realizing that you've shot and murdered a bunch of people. Ethel, you not only noticed, but it sent you into full-on flashback. Like, as you move into this hallway, you are now back in Nam. You are moving through the jungle. Poppy is your aide-de-camp working with you. And, you know, being in intelligence, you know that your aide-de-camp was undercover as with the USO. So you're moving through the jungle. You are going to slit some throats, and you are here to take down those commie bastards.
Do you want the SAN roll now, or do you want to just take the SAN?
Oh, you're not
just declare
getting a SAN
myself
roll.
insane?
You got a 100. You're not getting a SAN roll. You're just losing SAN, my dude. Okay, so Ethel's going to lose 4 SAN for that.
Okay, so Ethel is now indefinitely insane.
Yes.
Which we I guess we kind of know.
Yes, we do.
Will we notice any difference?
No, we will not. We definitely will not. So Ethel, that is your madness. Is you are back in the jungle, and you are going to stay there for a while as you are hunting down the enemy and taking them down.
We need supplies. We need to get
Motherfucker.
supplies. We need to. I need
Was that directed at me or Ethel? Okay.
Poppy, I need a rifle.
You've got your knife in your quarters. Like Poppy knows how to handle you when you're back in a flashback, and
By accurately describing where your weapons are.
Well, no, she knows what language to use. Poppy doesn't know that these aren't zombies. She wasn't paying attention, so
that's
she still
true.
thinks they're zombies.
So when we
Ethel-
look at the when we look at the people, do they look like people now?
Nope, they still look like zombies,
Okay.
including to you, Nick. So Ethel, you know that your room is down this hallway. It's the third door on the right.
I go there.
Okay, so you're moving. Are you stealthing past all of these commie enemy soldiers?
Ethel feels like she's stealthing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reality might be very different.
Well,
Sort of a shuffle.
Are you just going to leave the commies there? Or are you going to take down the enemy? What are you going to do?
You know, we can't take on all these commies without better weaponry. So we need to first, supplies.
Okay.
Supplies.
Okay, so you move past these few commie bastards. They don't seem to notice you. You're being very stealthy, or at least you think you're being very stealthy. And you make it to your room.
Ethel dive rolls over tables.
You open the door, and standing in the doorway is what looks like another enemy soldier, just standing there staring at you. Okay, so so you're give me a firearms roll with a bonus die for point blank range.
49 is, I think, a miss. Yes. I miss.
Okay. Do you want to spend luck to make it a success, or do you want to take the miss?
It's right on that border.
I'm just wondering which is funnier.
That's a good call.
I think she misses. She's going to miss this one. Let's see what happens.
So you fire off and miss, and the zombie goes, and Poppy goes, they got Martha, and starts smashing into this person's face. And what Poppy sees and what Sam sees as you come up behind them is a zombie form of Martha, who is Ethel's roommate. But what Ethel sees is Poppy eating to death a Viet Cong soldier. So,
well, wait, when you say Poppy's beating her to death, as soon as I see her lunge towards someone with that stiletto, I am going to try to rugby tackle her. I like Poppy, but she is not going to kill anyone else.
You're rugby tackling an old drag queen.
Oppose Dex to see if you can get to Poppy before she lands a blow. Oh, good luck.
That'll be a no.
Yeah. So Poppy manages to bring her stiletto in. Oh my fucking god, she rolled a 1. Oh my fucking god. So as you come up, Nick, like you're running, you're trying not to yell because you don't want other people to hear, but you see Poppy lunge in and the stiletto just goes straight through Martha's eye. And Martha falls back to the ground, like convulsing, with a bright orange satin stiletto sticking out of her skull.
Never liked to run away.
Poppy looks at Ethel and says, "I got you. Come on."
and I think that's the point. I think that's the point at which Nick, carried forward by the momentum, but because still slams into Poppy's back, sending her flying into the room.
You send this elderly arthritic drag queen like flying into the room. Ethel, where is your knife hidden in here?
Gary's not in the room. No. Okay. I had some terrible jokes ready. No, it's in her underwear drawer, clearly. She pulls out, she pulls various tighty whities out of the way, and she kind of pulls down. It's hidden deep underneath, and it's just this big knife.
Yeah.
That That was Martha. Her son's a lawyer. A fucking lawyer.
Barry, clearly something is going on here. That we're being shown images by the devil. It's making us kill residents.
It's not making us kill anyone. I haven't killed anyone yet. I've been trying to stop people killing each other. It's you lot who keep killing people. No one's making you do that. You're killing them.
So as you're
The only
standing in
good
the
Kong's a dead Kong.
so as you're yelling this in the hallway, some of the zombies in the hallway turn slowly to stare at you, and you hear. So while that's happening, Gary,
Look what you made me do.
Gary, you
Yes.
are back in the rec room with Manuel and with Randy, the conspiracy theorist, and with Verity, who's passed out under the couch. What are you doing?
Okay. What was the name of the person who I was tasing in the face? Or no, hitting with my laptop?
That was Phoebe.
Phoebe? Phoebe's still here, right?
The corpse of Phoebe, yes.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is say, I'm going to close the door behind me very quietly. And I'm going to start walking toward Phoebe, and I'm going to say, here's Gary. And I'm going to grab that walker. I'm going to grab the walker and pull the tennis balls off the feet. And I'm just going to start bashing her face with the walker.
Okay.
Oh, good lord.
So you start bashing her face in with the walker.
Yes.
And Randy comes tottering up to you and say, "What are you doing, boy? What are you doing? The commies are
Mind
out
your
there.
business, old man.
What are you
Just like
what are you
shove him
doing?
away with the
What are you
walker
doing
if I
to
can.
Phoebe? What are you?"
She's a zombie.
He starts backing up. That's good, red-blooded American, son. Have you been bitten by one of them? Are you a commie now, son?
She's a zombie. Look at her. Don't look at her. She's a zombie.
He looks, and then he goes, "Commie's got to you, son. I'm sorry about this." And he's going to try to hit you in the head with his cane.
Of course he is. Can I fight back, or is this a surprise attack?
Well, I don't think you're very surprised, so you
Okay.
can fight back.
Okay, I'd like to fight back with the walker.
Okay.
Just like a spin move.
This is like
See
a
how this goes.
geriatric lightsaber fight.
Of course, I rolled 89. There's no way I can get there with luck.
Well, he got a success on the
course.
nose, and he doesn't have
Oh.
very much fighting brawl. But the good news is his walking stick isn't going to do much. You're just going to take 2 points of damage as he cracks this down on your skull.
Oh, is that all?
Yes.
Almost dead. Okay. That's fine. I guess that mission didn't work out too well.
Yeah, so as that's happening, what are the rest of you doing to react to the people in the hallway staring at you?
I'm gonna kind of wobble back a bit, and I'm gonna kind of turn around and start wobbling my way towards like Walter's room.
Okay, so you start.
That was where we were going. That was
Yeah.
where Barry wanted to go. So I'm gonna go. Nope, we're going there. If we can get in and shut the door, that's probably a good idea.
Walter's room is all the way at the end of the hallway. He paid extra to get the room on the shady side of the building, so he's all the way at the end.
Are there zombies between us and
There's
there?
zombies between you and them. You can try
Okay.
creeping along the wall. Ethel can try murdering everybody. What are you gonna do, Ethel? What are you doing?
Ethel is following Sam, who she has a vague understanding is her CEO.
Okay. Nick, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to distract the zombies and get them away from the others so they can go and rescue Walter. So I'm going to stand in the hallway outside Martha and Ethel's room, and
Ethel's now.
and I'm going to start clapping my hands.
To be honest with you,
We're going to start clapping my hands together and say, "Come on, it's med time. Come on." To the common room. Follow me.
Okay, so give me a luck roll, Nick.
You stay the fuck out of the common room.
That is a success.
Okay. So you're able to get some of their attentions, the ones closest to you. They just sort of turn and look at you, and you just hear a.
We have lime jello for you today. Lime jello, the good stuff.
Ooh.
And then they start coming at you, and they start clawing at you.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
I'm gonna
as
while the distractions there, leg it for Walter's room.
Okay. So you're legging it towards Walter's room. Ethel?
Ethel is following this her CEO.
Okay. Nick, you've got 6 geriatric zombies piling on you,
well,
and they are
as they come.
scratching at your face.
Well, no, as they're coming towards me, I'm going to jump back in Ethel's room and slam the door and try to keep them out.
Mhm. Okay, so you slam the door shut, and you start hearing people banging on the door. You're in there with the corpse now, so that's great. So
I'm sure that can't backfire at all.
Sam and Ethel, who has the lowest luck?
My luck is currently 35.
38.
Okay, Sam, give me a luck roll. All right. So as you're legging it for Walter's room, you are like creeping around these geriatric zombies. A bunch of them had gone over and are pounding on the door that Nick has just locked himself in. And you're just moving around these other groups, trying not to be noticed. And then you see one standing in the middle of the hallway, and you're like, we're gonna creep past that. We're gonna creep past that. And as you start creeping along on the wall past it, it turns its head and it looks at you, and you realize this isn't a resident. This creature, whatever it is, it has sort of a greenish cast to its skin. It's got slightly pointed ears and huge black eyes. It's got a wide nose, and it's got huge slavering jaws and sharp pointy teeth as it grins at you. And you look and you see it's got hooved feet in these sort of torn trousers, and it's just sort of standing there. And as you try to creep past it, it suddenly tilts its head. Fresh meat.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Sanity roll, please. Both of you.
The Sanity roll is really just a courtesy at this point.
I fail.
Okay.
I fail too.
All right. So Ethel, you lose 2, and you're still in a bout of madness, so that'll be fine.
Yeah, you can't make me more insane.
Do you think? Don't test me. And Sam, you're going to lose 4.
1 point away from having lost the third.
So
Fifth.
this thing is going to get a surprise round on you because you didn't know it was going to attack you. So I'm going to do a roll to see who it attacks. Okay, so actually I'll do this on the roll 20. So a 1 is Sam, a 2 is Ethel.
I'm so scared.
Let's see. All right, it's Ethel. It's going to go for Ethel. It showed up for me. I don't think it showed up on the roll 20, but yeah. So it rolled a 2, so it's going to go for Ethel. So Ethel, you see this hideous creature bounding out of what looks like a tree, because you think you're still in the jungle, and it attempts to sink its teeth into you. Are you going to dodge, fight back? What are you going to do?
I'm going to fight back with my knife.
Okay. So give me that fight back roll.
It's a success.
Yes. It got a 004.
Okay. Well,
Well,
I mean, I got a success.
I'm not kidding. It's a 004.
I'm proud of you anyway, Grandma.
So this thing sinks its teeth into your throat, Ethel. And
Magic number is 8.
well, it just did 8 damage to you. 5 and a 3. So
I was Ethel.
well, you might have a chance. No, you don't.
Not if the total's 8.
Yeah. So Ethel, you see
no.
this thing coming at you, and you feel its hot, smelly breath on your face, and then you feel its teeth sink into your throat, and you feel this sharp, horrible pain as this. It must be your own blood trickles down your chest, and then you feel something hot, and the smell is the most disgusting thing you've ever smelt in your life. And then you look, and it's making eye contact with you, and it's smiling as it chews on the piece of your throat, and you just sort of and you put your hand up to your throat, and it licks its lips, and then it leans down, and it spits some kind of black ichor into your mouth.
Kinky.
And Ethel, it's a flesh wound. You're okay. You're fine. You fought off worse than this. It's okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like it's fine. Like, you're bleeding, but you can staunch it later. You've had to deal with worse. Man, whatever was disgusting, but you can fight this thing. You can.
I try and stab it.
What were you going to? What were you going to do to this thing? No, you weren't going to kill. This is one of your battle brothers, Ethel. This is one of your comrades. He's probably trying to save you. Sam, how are you reacting to this?
Well, I'm standing right next to Ethel, so I'm going to point blank shoot the monster in the head.
Okay, so give me a firearms roll with a bonus die.
No, I'm not.
So you fire and you shoot past it. And
then I'm going to run.
Okay, you're gonna run. So you take off running, and this thing looks at you, Ethel, and it nods. And it licks its mouth, and you feel yourself. You're hungry, Ethel. You're so hungry. Oh, you're so hungry. You smell dead things, Ethel. Dead things. Sounds like dinner time, Ethel. So, well, that's happening. Nick, you have heard a gunshot go off in the hallway, and you still have.
For fuck's sake! Can they not go for 2 minutes without killing another resident?
Are you going to react at all? There's no more banging on your door.
I'm going to listen at the door and see whether I can hear whether they're moving away, what's going on, just get some idea of whether it's safe to open the door.
Okay, give me a listen roll. And Gary, be thinking about what you're doing.
Oh, am I supposed to think about actions now?
Okay, so is that a 91? Okay, so you think,
It is.
Nick, that it's hard to hear, like there's that echo from the gunshot in that very close quarters of the hallway, but you can't hear anyone banging on the hallway or anything.
But I can't hear them moving away either. So I'm going to push the roll. I'm going to open the door slightly and just put my ear up to the crack and listen, because I'm sure that can't go wrong in any way.
Oh,
23. That's is that a success?
I hope so.
Yes, it is.
Base?
Okay. So you crack open the door, and you notice that the zombies who were around the door when you went in are now just sort of wandering around the hallway. And then you see Ethel just sort of running past the doorway towards the rec room, and she's got blood streaming down her throat. And when I say running, I mean she's an 87-year-old woman, but she's moving like she's got a giant knife in one hand. She's got blood pouring down her throat, and she just appears to be running towards the rec room.
Nick's every impulse at this stage is just to close the door and pretend he didn't see anything. But, but this isn't going to happen. I'll open up the door and just step outside, and I mean, obviously I'm looking at where Ethel's going, but at the same time, I'm very conscious of the fact that Sam isn't with her. So I'm going to see whether I can see where Sam's got to.
So you look down towards the other end of the hallway, and Sam is legging it, and something appears to be chasing her. And you're looking at this thing from behind, but you can already tell there's this greenish skin and these hooved feet. Make a sanity roll.
The devil.
Yep, definitely the devil. This doesn't look like the zombies. This is different, and it's running fast.
That is a failure.
Nice. Okay. So you're going to lose 3 points of sand for that. So you have Ethel running in one direction with blood pouring down her neck, carrying a knife. You've got Sam running in the other direction with something chasing her. What would you like to do, Nurse Barry? What would you like to do?
I am going to try to create a distraction so Sam can get away. So I'm going to reach over onto one of the cleaning trolleys that's in the corridor, grab 2 metal bedpans off it, not caring whether they're empty or not, and start slamming them together.
Okay. Let me see. All right. So you start creating this havoc, and you see the thing that's chasing after Sam just sort of stops and like puts its hands up to its head for a split second, and then it turns around and starts running in your direction towards the noise. And you see this slavering jaw and these huge eyes, and Sam just keeps running.
Yeah.
I clearly haven't thought this through.
Go, Sam.
Is there a fire exit? Like, I'm not going to necessarily go for Walter's room anymore. I just go for a fire exit. Like the devil is chasing me. This is different now. Please let there be a fire exit.
Not on this end. It's the other direction.
This is a health hazard. This residence is rubbish.
It is rubbish. Give me an idea roll.
Me? Okay, cool. What's idea? Is it
intelligence?
Intelligence, cool.
While you're doing that, Gary, what are you doing?
Good idea.
Okay. So I'll tell you what happens with that in a minute. Gary, what are you doing?
Okay, what did I hear? I heard a gunshot, and that's about it? Or screaming?
Gunshot, screaming.
But I didn't hear anything that was distinctly my grandmother.
Yep. And
Okay.
you also just had an old guy hit you over the head with a cane.
Yes, he knows what I've done, so I think I need to kill this man, actually. I'm going to try to start by tasing him.
This poor
Fighting
guy.
roll. He's gonna
He's coming for
he's gonna dodge or try to dodge, but
Okay.
he's old.
Yeah, and I am too by my statistics. I don't even know what I need. Is this a fighting roll for me?
Fighting brawl.
Are you sure it's not electronics? I can't even get there with luck.
I will give you a bonus die on it.
Or I could try to push it in some way.
You could try to push it. How are you going to push it?
I think I went for the taser. I tried to get him like in the gut, and it didn't go off. And now I'm going to try to stick it in his mouth.
Okay, so he's raising his cane up in the air, yelling something about commie bastard. You're going to try and shove it in his mouth? Push the roll.
I think so. Oh, God, I'm going to fail this. And I did.
So you go to try and shove it into his mouth, but you're not quite ready for the angle, and you sort of slip and fall, and you land flat on your face. And when he brings his cane down in his fight back, he's going to get a bonus die because you're prone.
Great.
Ooh, that's a 10. So it was an 80 before, but now it's a 10 with a bonus. So
Lovely.
Just another 2 points of damage. That's all.
I'm at 0, so I'm unconscious.
Well, hang on. No, you've taken a major wound, haven't you?
Oh, I did have a major wound. I'm dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're dead. You're dead.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot about my major wound. Thank you, Scott. You fucking.
I was going to mention it too.
You guys killed my old guy with a
That's like no zombie, like a satyr thing. Nah, you got killed by the guy who's a conspiracy theorist.
Yes. Can my dying word be Morgian or whatever the hell I read in that tome?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. So Sam, with your 99, you think the best thing you can do is you remember that Walter had this really nice bed that he brought in? You could probably hide under that really well because it's bigger than like the residential beds. Like he brought in his own nice antique furniture, and you know that he has a bed skirt that he keeps around. You could hide under there and no one would find you.
It's true. So I'm going to go for Walter's room. Yeah, and just throw the door open.
Okay. So you run up, you run past these other zombie residents, and you get to Walter's room. It says Walter and Otto, and you throw the door open, and we'll cut back to you in a minute. Ethel, you are running. You are so freaking hungry, and you smell something. It smells like fresh dead meat. And you run and you find it's closed. You can smell it. It's coming from in there. Oh, it smells so good. What do you do?
This is fucking sick, Rina.
Is this the cafeteria or my room?
No, this is the rec room.
The rec room.
Where, yeah, you smell so much beautiful fresh dead meat.
And it's closed?
Mm-hmm. If you could just get through that door.
I'm going to try and shoot the lock off it.
Okay, give me a firearms roll. Bonus die.
30. That is a pass.
Okay, so you shoot the lock off the door. Nurse Barry, you are running away from whatever this terrifying thing is after you've made a lot of noise, and you suddenly hear a gunshot.
Well, actually, I wasn't running away.
Oh, you weren't running away.
I was standing there terrified for a moment because it was really running towards me. I've got these two bedpans in my hand. So what I'm going to do is I still want to get to Walter's room, so I'm going to try to make a distraction. And seeing this thing running towards me on the ground, I'm going to empty one of the bedpans on the ground in front of it to try to make it slip on the tile floor.
Oh, yes, I love this. Okay. So it's going to make a dex roll to see if it can avoid that. It does not. It crit fails. So it slips, falls, and cracks its head on the floor. And it appears dazed for a moment. You can run off towards Walter's room if that's what you would like to do.
That is exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay. So you're running off towards Walter's room. Ethel, you are breaking into the rec room where you can smell all that delicious, fresh, dead meat.
I go
So
to my darling, to my dearie, to my darling dearie.
So, Sam, as you open the door and Nick comes running up behind you, first thing you notice that this room is pretty dark. The curtains have been drawn. He had these really nice, heavy velvet curtains, and it's pretty dark in here. The second thing you notice is that both Walter and Otto appear to be here, and they appear to be sleeping in their own respective beds. And so you feel around, you flip the light switch on, and the first thing you see is that above Walter's head on the wall is a strange symbol that's been painted in definitely red paint. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely red paint. The second thing you notice is the giant hole in the floor. And the third thing you notice is Otto laying in the bed, his glasses slipping off his face, and blood pouring out of a slit in his throat. Walter appears to be asleep.
What's in the hole in the ground?
Can't tell from here. Just looks like a big hole.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Walter is a devil worshipper and has summoned Satan from the grave, and he's clearly the problem here. So I'm going to go over and shoot him.
Okay, so you're going to go shoot him?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to go, shoot.
Okay, so you're going to go up and shoot him. Nick, you're coming in as well. But Sam, I need you to make a sanity roll first.
Naturally. The devil has been summoned here today. I'm fine.
Okay.
This is fine. I know what I need to do.
So you're fine? Yep.
I need
you know
to
what
get
you need
rid
to do.
of the Satan worshipper.
And Nick, give me a SAN roll as you're coming into this, and you realize Otto has been brutally murdered, probably by Walter.
I'm pretty sure that's a failure now. Yes, it is.
Okay, that's going to be 5 points of sanity for you.
Okay, well, I'm definitely insane now.
Perfect. Okay, so as you see all of this, as you take this in, you realize Sam was right. There's some kind of Satan worship going on in here. Like, this doesn't happen in the best nursing homes. Why does this happen to you? You deserve so much better than this, Nick. And you just
It's clearly me. I've failed. I'm a terrible nurse.
You've just look at how it's fallen. Look at how it's fallen down around you. This is your third job, Nick, and you keep losing them, and this time you've lost patients. Like, look at how many people are dead, Nick.
Well, you know what's even worse than having just lost all these patients? I just thought of them as patients and not residents. I'm a terrible nurse.
So, how does your bout of madness respond to that? With this idea of it's you, it's all you, it's your fault, Nick.
Well, clearly, all these devils have come up through this hole in the ground. This is what it's all come from, and they need a sacrifice in order to stop them. So I'm going to jump into the hole.
Oh my God, no!
Yes, you are.
So Nick goes and jumps into the hole. Sam, I'd like you to give me a luck roll.
Okay.
If you're lucky, this sacrifice will work.
My luck's 35, so no.
Okay, so you go over and you're preparing to shoot Walter in the head just to make all of this stop. But there's this sort of low humming that you've been sort of feeling. And you realize as you get close to Walter, it's coming from him. And you look up and you see that this symbol, it's blood, and the blood is actively dripping down the wall. And it distracts you just long enough that before you can pull the trigger, Walter's eyes snap open, and they're these big black endless pools, like whatever it was that was chasing you in the hallway. And he smiles and you see these sharp teeth. And then before you can even react to that, he sits up and he says, "He comes." And there's a loud rushing sound of wind and electricity and fire and every sound you could possibly imagine. And you turn and you look at the hole, and rising up out of the hole is this big black cloud. And it's forming this huge pillar. And you see what looks like black licks of flame popping around it, and almost like electricity rattling through it. And you see like sharp teeth forming and then dissolving, and it looks almost like this giant, massive black worm. And I'd like you to make me a sanity roll as you look on the face of Mordigian.
Boy, am I glad I jumped into the middle of that.
No, and that means I'm permanently insane.
Okay, so let me roll. I'm going to roll on the... Okay, so you're going to lose 56 sanity.
Yeah, I'm completely gone.
Not bad.
Okay, so as you look, Sam, your mind just snaps. You are looking on the face of something so old and so terrible that you cannot cope with it. And you just sort of fall on your face and you start bowing and worshiping and screaming. And as you do that, Walter leaps up off the bed and he twists your head and breaks your neck. And this black cloud just sort of moves through your body and completely dissolves Sam Novak until there is nothing left as Mordigian dissolves this corpse. So
I got dissolved. Yeah. I've never been dissolved before.
That's new. That's good.
So I'm going to put a coda on this. So a few hours later, there's sirens and alarm bells and all sorts of things as fire engines and police cars and ambulances come pulling up to the nursing home. And they walk into the Whispering Willows and they can't figure out what the hell happened here. There are corpses that have had most of the flesh eaten off of them, scattered all over the place. There's a bunch of traumatized residents who are garbling and seem completely insane. They can't quite. They say something about zombies and then the flesh eaters, and then no one can make any sense of it. They're going to be in mental care probably for the rest of their lives, the few of them that are left. No one can find Sam, the security guard, anywhere, or Nurse Barry. They seem to have disappeared. So the current theory, which is never proven or disproven, is that Sam Novak and Nurse Barry went on a killing spree and murdered half of the residents before disappearing, because no one ever sees them ever again. And so no one will ever go near this nursing home after this massacre. And so it's shut down, it's condemned, the hole in the floor is filled in, the building is razed to the ground. And then they build a school on top of it. And the new rumors that go around is that sometimes at night, you can still see a couple figures. One looks very old, but with very sharp teeth, and another one is very tall and broad, and also has these big black eyes and wearing the shredded remains of a nurse's uniform, can be seen prowling around, licking their lips and calling for the dead. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Yay!
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
I was about to stop it, Scott, and then you just threw yourself into the hellhole.
By sacrificing yourself, Nick, you became a ghoul, and you completed the ritual to summon Mordigian.
Fantastic.
If I had shot Walter, what would have happened?
The ritual would have stopped. The ghouls that had emerged from the hole would have, like, Ethel the ghoul and the other ghouls would have gone on to escape and keep eating people, but Mordegian would have not come and basically devoured most of the people dead people in the residence.
So
So did I continue on as a ghoul?
Yep. You and Nick, you both became ghouls, and you're just sort of wandering around eating corpses wherever you find them.
nice.
Grandmother, what big teeth you have.
That was really awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. In terms of surviving, that was maybe my best scenario ever. I lasted almost the whole time.
And then you got killed by an old NPC with a walking stick
Yeah, it
because you
happens.
tased yourself in the dick earlier.
Yeah.
Oh
Accurate.
my god.
That was awesome. So good.
Oh, that was fun though.
Very good. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Hedge, go ahead.
Rina had a very important story to tell us about the first time she delivered this. You want to do that now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the first time I ran this game, Ethel, the person who was playing Ethel, got wounded by one of the ghouls in the hallway because they had a lot more encounters with ghouls before they got to Walter's room. And so the character still managed to survive despite half her guts being torn out. And then she stabbed the ghoul and cut its throat by rolling a 1. But then she pulled out her knitting needles and started clawing her way down the hallway towards Walter's room, using her knitting needles, trailing her entrails down the hallway. And just like giving instructions to her grandson the entire time about how to deal with commies. It was the most amazing thing.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So-
And this, if you want to run this, it's in what, Fear's Sharp Little Needles?
Yes, Fear Sharp Little Needles. I have modified it as I did with Necropolis. There's things that I've added, some stuff that I changed. So if you would like to ask me about those things, please don't hesitate to message me on Discord. I'd love to chat about it. But yeah, it's a pretty fun, brutal scenario that is very hard to get out of.
Yeah.
So I'm glad y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very good. Thank you for that. I don't have much else to say. I made a little video stinger that I forgot I have. So when we end it, I'm going to play that. It's like 3 seconds long.
Tensoon Shadow was in that first game that I ran, and he blew up the nursing home.
Oh, okay.
As you do.
He went and mixed some chemicals and exploded it.
He's going to run Blackwater Creek for us, Scott's scenario, starting
Oh, nice.
not next week, in 3 weeks, I guess. It's on a Thursday night. Next Thursday, we're going to finish the 19th hole, which Will Bazer's running. I think he's in the chat here. So we're kind of trying to do bi-weekly Thursday night streams. We're streaming here on Monday. Some of y'all are playing, right? We're playing the scenario that Graham, who I think is also in the chat, wrote based on our show, An Occurrence at Bone Branch Creek. And Mike Mason's going to play with us as well. So looking forward to that, but I have to run it, so I'm not looking forward to it that much.
I have lots of weapons in that one.
You have
I'm really
what?
excited.
Lots of weaponry, if I recall correctly.
Okay, good. Wear your
Was
cowboy
it the
hats.
I can't remember who I picked. Yeah, gunslinger.
You're the
I've got
gunslinger. You're lethal in that. Yeah, you have very good
Yeah, it's
stats.
gonna be great.
Tensoon Shadow asked if I read our own scenario yet. Maybe not the latest version, but I've read, an iteration. So I think I'll be prepared to run that. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to play our
y'all.
silly animation, and we'll be back on Monday. So this is where I don't know how to play things, and it's awkward. All right, now I'll end it. All right, thanks everybody. That didn't work the way I thought it would.